Hey, welcome to this mini course. As you could see on the thumbnail, I will talk about email marketing for a couple hours in this course, and this is most relevant for e-commerce businesses. If you don't know me, my name is Budai, and in the past 6 years, my team and we helped more than 200 e-commerce brands scale using email marketing. We generated more than $100 million for this brand. And let me share you a case study that so many people thought it's not real. It was actually a scam. We even got those comments, but I just really want to share because this will really convince most people, I believe, about the power of email marketing. So we had this US-based electronics brand coming to us last year in April. They were already an 8-figure business, so they generated 1.7 million total revenue in April last year. They generated 20% of the sales coming from Klaviyo email, so more than 349K to be exact. And then they wanted to level up when it comes to their emails. They wanted some new flows, regular campaign management, being smart about segmentation, regular A/B testing. They were lack of resource when it comes to that. So they reached out to our team, and if you know us, we work with 4 people on one account. We really make sure that we dedicate enough time and human labor into strategy and implementation. And fast forward 6 months later, October, this brand generated $8.5 million total revenue. And if you see the screenshot, it says 2,842,000 USD coming from email. We even hit 3 million actually on one day for the last 30 days, but the screenshot has a bit less. The point is, we achieved multiple millions of dollars coming from Klaviyo in 30 days in October, 6 months after we started our work. So we almost 10x their email revenue, and the business, they grew from 1.7 million total revenue to 8.5 million. So what this tells me is that if you really invest into email marketing, you can be a small business, a medium or a bigger business, you will get really amazing results. And if you reinvest that money into your growth, into your acquisition, or optimizing your processes if that you need, or maybe product development, but you reinvest the profits from email marketing, you will ultimately scale and beat your competition. So that was really a testament for me about the power of email marketing. However, if you are not convinced about email marketing, I can just tell you a couple more things. So here is this graph where we can see the number of monthly users of Meta platforms. So Facebook is number 1 most popular. It's around 3 or 3.5 billion people on a monthly basis. WhatsApp is around 2 billion, maybe now it's 2.5 billion per month. Instagram Messenger way behind. TikTok is probably around 2.5 billion people, monthly users at the moment. However, email actually has 4 billion daily users. I'm not talking about monthly users as in the case of Facebook. I'm talking about daily users, and it's 4 billion people. 4 billion daily users email versus Facebook is only 3 or 3.5 billion per month. It's a crazy big difference. Probably Google has the only same reach as email marketing has these days. So email is really used by every second person on earth. It's just amazing. So it's just wildly popular and people check it every day. So I think that's something to really consider. And when it comes to ROI, because maybe this case study gives you the impression that you need to generate millions of dollars to make it profitable, that's not the case. So first of all, according to the study of McKinsey, email marketing has a 44x ROI, which is the highest out of all marketing platforms. So ads, they have a much lower ROI, especially Meta ads. SEO is still behind email marketing. Banner ads way behind, and offline marketing way behind, including TV ads or radio. So email has an ROI of 44x, and no marketing channel is even close to that ROI actually. And when it comes to your long-term plan, if you want to sell your business or you want to have a high valuation of your business, then actually your email list is an asset. So if you have your list and you want to sell your business will be worth more because you have this asset. So make sure you start building your list as soon as possible, as early as possible, and make it as engaged as possible, because this will increase the valuation of your business when you want to sell it. It does, because actually your email list is your own asset. When you run ads on Google Ads or Meta Ads or even TikTok, then the audience owned by those platforms, and same for SEO. However, when it comes to emails, the list list is yours. So even if you get banned by Klaviyo or MailChimp, whatever, you can still take it and migrate it into another software. This is probably the only platform where you can have your audience as an asset. And again, it will even increase the evaluation of your business. So really consider these. Okay, and now why I'm qualified to talk about email marketing. So as I said, we helped more than 200 e-commerce brands generate more than $100 million in the past 5 years. And I will share this slide from one of my decks. So the average open rate we get clients around 50% higher than the industry average. The click rate is more than double what we can see in e-commerce. And we typically generate 30-40% of total revenue of our clients coming from email and even SMS marketing. So if you want to learn more about e-commerce email marketing, subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. And I drop a video almost every week when it comes to e-commerce. Okay, and now just a few very common questions coming from our partners and audience, and how to think about email marketing. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to answer these FAQ questions. So number one is campaign versus flows. What are the differences, what they actually mean, and what they actually mean. Basically, flows are nothing else than retargeting your existing website traffic. So let's say you run traffic coming from meta ads, they come to your website and they will take certain actions on your site. They visit the site, they visit the product page, they put a product into the cart, they go to the checkout, they even buy, or they leave the checkout, they leave the cart, or they become a subscriber and they become a VIP subscriber later on. So, there are many ways, many actions they can take, but actually flows, as you will see, each has a certain trigger, and the flow is triggered by these actions, and they will receive these emails automatically. So these emails, they basically retarget your visitors, nothing else than just a very cheap retargeting of your visitors. Unlike for ads, you don't have to pay for sending extra emails. And then we have campaigns. Campaigns are more manual because you will have an existing email list, and you will create segments there, and you can email a certain segment on a wish. So whenever you want to send a campaign, you can do that. You can send a campaign to your segment, and then it will actually generate revenue for you. I love to say that actually it prints money for you if you really think about it. So campaigns are more on demand, and they are more manual as well. However, in the long run, they typically generate more revenue than your email flows when you have a big enough list. Okay, next question, when to get started with email marketing? So the answer is simple, as soon as possible. You can get started with simple sign-up forms, set up a email software like Klaviyo. Once you have these sign-up forms, you can set up a welcome flow for them. You can set up your post-purchase email flow, your abandoned checkout flow. So the major flows, and then you just really get started, and your first subscribers, they get used to the fact that you actually email them. The next one is how fast you get results. So I would say relatively quickly here, because if you set up these sign-up forms and these couple flows, maybe you start sending campaigns, then you will see that once emails they go out, they have a really high conversion rate if you do it right, if your copy is on point, your offer is on point, and you can generate faster results even than from Google Ads, I would say, and comparable to Meta Ads. So pretty fast. At the beginning, it will not be the major thing for your business. Again, this will generate some extra nice profit, but over time it can become a major asset, especially when you have a large enough list. Anytime you can send a campaign and it will print money for you. So it becomes, just like a snowball, it becomes big enough to make a huge impact on your business. How much time and money you need to set up? So, marketing services are the Wild West. So you can find someone on Fiverr, they can set up flows for like $200 USD. And you can find experts who set the same flows up for 10, 15K. So, it's all over the place. I always say that really think about, who is a better talent, the guy for selling this for $200 on Fiverr, or the team who sets this up for 10, 15K, and they have referrals, case studies, and almost a decade of history of doing that. So really just consider that. Next question is, who can set this up for me? So short answer is we can, but just giving you a bit more thoughts on that. So again, You can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork. So typically there is cheaper talent there. You can get referrals, you can get on LinkedIn. You can find a freelancer expert, but you can also find a team. We operate in this way that there are 4 people working on one account, 2 creative people, a native copywriter, a graphic designer, and we have a strategist, and we also have someone who manages the software, and we even have a 5th person actually who just QAs the whole work. So, it's more like a team. They've been together for 5+ years now. It's a very well vetted team and they really know each other well. It's just a whole different level, in my opinion, than, working with one expert. But that's just my biased opinion, obviously. Do I need SMS marketing? I would say yes these days, especially if you sell in the States or in the UK, because SMS marketing has a great ROI and it's not as scalable as email marketing, but open rate text messages are still really high, 80-90%. Almost everyone opens their text inbox, and click rates are higher than for email. So, it's nothing else, just a channel where the logic is quite similar to email marketing. You have flows, campaigns, sign-up forms, all of that, and you can integrate it together with email marketing in a really smart way as well. It's just a bit less scalable because fewer people will give you their phone number. It's more intrusive channel, actually. Next question is, do I need pop-ups? Yes, I would say yes. I will talk about this a couple chapters later, but yes, you definitely need pop-ups. And yeah, this is the biggest revenue generator for brands these days. So don't be skeptical, because then you will lose a lot of money and profit if you don't have your pop-ups and sign-up forms. So invest into them, make sure that their UX is on point, and this will grow your email list fast. The attached welcome flow is typically the highest revenue generator, and most subscribers, they really come through pop-ups and sign-up forms, not as customers or checkout abandoners. So it's just a huge thing, and make sure you have your pop-ups and the UX is good, the offer is good in those. After these, let's jump into the main part of the course, and I will put all resources below into the description. If you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. I share similar content every week with our audience. Also, I will put our website below, so if you want to work together or you need some help or consultation, feel free to reach out. Okay, so let's get started with our email marketing software journey. We will use Klaviyo, and Klaviyo is basically the fastest growing Shopify app ever. We've been working together for, God knows, almost 8 years now. And I remember when I visited them in Boston, their conference was probably like 200 people. Now they are more than $10 billion evaluation company. They IPO'd a few years ago, so now they just huge basically. And still they are the most reliable and the best email and SMS marketing software for most e-commerce brands, especially if you are on Shopify. So this is what we will use in our course. So yeah, go to their website and then we can hit sign up. So here you just have to fill out some information, obviously. Okay, so now we want to describe the business. So let's say we have a food and beverage e-commerce business. Yeah, you just want to fill this out basically. Here you want to pick the platform. Now I will use a Shopify store, and actually here you can already connect this. So this is just a dummy store that we have with the team, and if you don't know the link, then go to your store name and just copy paste this. So I think we are good to go. Continue and update data. So basically Klaviyo will have access to Shopify's database. So Shopify stores the emails and phone numbers of customers. You can email those people. Yeah, we want to sync profiles, all profiles. Select the profile data to sync. Yeah, we want all of those, even custom properties. I'm fine with that. So let's continue. Sender name. So you want to make it more personal. So let's say Danielle from BM. And sender email. Ideally, you want to use a different one than your support. So create a separate email domain for your newsletters. So yeah, we want to use email and SMS as well. And voila, we have the new account. So yeah, we have the new Klaviyo account. Basically, you have to set up a few things. These will be useful for your flows later on. So we want to track visitors on the site, those who visit the website, and I will just turn this on. If you are on Shopify, it's easier. You just have to click a toggle button. If you are not Shopify, then you might need to custom code. Yeah, just make sure that this is saved, and I will go back. Okay, we are good on this one. Set up your email subscriber list. So yeah, we want to set up our first email list. If you want, you can rename it. And then here you want to pick single opt-in, because if you set up double opt-in, basically every new subscriber, they will receive a notification, an email, if they really want to subscribe. But actually most people, they simply just forget this. They don't check their email inbox immediately. So by doing this, by having double opt-in, you just lose a lot of potential subscribers. It's just better to use single opt-in, and once it's needed, you just remove the unengaged profiles. So we always use it. Okay, now we can create a sign-up form or import contacts. I will do neither of these. You can import contacts from Shopify if you want, or manually upload. I will just skip this part. Next one, we want to set up the email flows, and I will continue there, and then even SMS marketing, we can do that. But basically now our Klaviyo is set up, so we have only one email list now, which is here. And then as you can see, Klaviyo gives you some default segmentation options. So if you have some subscribers, you will see how engaged they are with your emails. So this is the home. You will see all the flows and the results, same for campaigns. Here you can check your campaigns, your flows. You can also get reviews through Klaviyo, so it's easier to embed them into your emails dynamically if you want. You can create sign-up forms. However, I have other preferred software tools for that, but if you want, you can use these templates. Growth strategies, actually that's something new. And then here you have your audience. Basically, the most important is list and segments. You can see your list here. You can check profiles one by one. You can set up new definitions for your segments. And then here you have your content. So you have many templates you can use here. Images and brand, you can upload all of your images. Here you can manage your coupons, and you can use Shopify coupons, so they automatically integrate with Shopify coupons, or you can upload your own coupons if you want to have a lot of static coupons, like tens or hundreds of thousands of those. Here is the analytical part. Basically, this is the reporting tool of Klaviyo, and what you can do here, and I will show you the default one. So yeah, basically you can track whatever you want nowadays using Klaviyo. You can track revenue, email list growth, different engagement metrics like open rate, bounce rate, spam complaint rate, all of those. So now this is a real account. So you can see the 5 most important metrics for your deliverability, and also what flows and campaigns are the toughest one. For example, these campaigns, they had a very low click rate, so it needs to be solved. Again, with metrics, you will see all the data sources. It can be Klaviyo, Shopify, Ecommerce, custom coded APIs, Gorgeous, for example. So all the data points that comes in. So these are the main features of Klaviyo's menu, and here at the home you will see the total revenue and business performance, the flow performance, and finally the campaign performance as well. So now let's jump into the nitty-gritty of Klaviyo. So guys, in this video we are gonna talk about the high converting email design, and when it comes to design, actually I always say it's pretty similar to website design. So you have to follow the UX principles, basic psychology, and if you know all of those, actually designing your emails will be much easier. So in our team, we differentiate or distinguish between 2 types of emails when it comes to design. One is simple tier design, and those are created in Klaviyo with their email builder. And there are high tier design emails where we use Figma or Photoshop. I would also add, if somebody claims that they can design your emails, they show you super beautiful emails, claim that they make it in Canva. Honestly, I'm always suspicious. I wouldn't recommend that. I think Figma and Photoshop is just still much better than Canva for email design. That being said, if you want to design more simple emails, Klaviyo's email builder, it's pretty solid actually. So you can go to content, you can go to templates, and here you can create different templates. For example, I will just open up one of our newsletters. So this one, desktop and mobile, you can check it there and then edit template. So yeah, this is the email builder. So obviously some of them are, the usual ones, what you can find in other email tools as well. However, I really like that if you integrate your emails and your Klaviyo account with Klaviyo reviews, you can pull in dynamic reviews into your emails. So actually those reviews that your customers left, they can be pulled into your emails automatically. You can also add the product blocks like this one. You can use static products where you can just pick your product, whatever you want to add, or you can make them dynamic as well. So here basically dynamic product blocks, it means that every single recipient, they will see different products in this section. That's also super useful. You can add social links, you can add different columns. I would add that you don't want to use more than one or maximum 2 columns in your emails just for the sake of visibility. And especially on mobile, I'm a huge fan of just using 1 column. So don't use too many columns there. When it comes to emails, you cannot really use videos. However, you can add the video link and it generates the thumbnail that people, they can click. So that's also super helpful. You can also add HTML code if you want. And also I would add with your designing process, you always want to start with mobile first. 80% of email openers, they use mobile and desktop, although most people, they buy through desktop, but most email opens and the reading process, it typically helps on mobile. So focus on that. So this is the builder of Klaviyo. And what I like as well is that you can create universal elements with the email builder. So for example, a signature is a typical example. So here, this one is actually an element that is universal across all of our emails. So you don't have to do this every single time. And if you go in a Klaviyo to universal content, then here you will see all of these universal elements basically. Here you can also edit products. You can create a product feed. Yeah, I don't want to dive deep into this, but basically what a product feed is, if you want to use those dynamic product blocks, you can create a feed of different products. So not all kinds of products will be seen in the dynamic product block, but only certain collected ones or chosen ones basically through this product feed. So you can test this as well. Images and branding, coupons, so you can edit all of those. And when you go to your campaign and you edit this, so let's say I want to edit this one, edit template, you can go to preview and test. While I like this preview thing, but what is even much better is simply just sending a test, because you always want to check your email in your own inbox, how it will look like. And we do this in our QA process. So send this email to this test email address. So send test, it's done. And we typically send this to a Gmail and then to an Outlook account or Hotmail account because they are just really different. So send it to a couple of your emails on different email providers and check it on desktop and mobile as well and see if you find any bugs. The other big thing is actually email cropping that I will talk about soon, but make sure that these things, they don't happen. So yeah, this is about the basic design emails. Now I will talk about more design emails, which is especially important for visual brands, lifestyle brands. So we typically use Figma here, and I will just open this up. So let's say I want to edit this. And as you can see, these emails, they can be very long. So this is where we'll need a proper design process. So first of all, when you decide to have these kind of emails, then we typically create a simple wireframe using Figma or Miro or just some kind of mind mapping and drawing tool basically. And once wireframe is created, then the copywriter writes the copy. That's not a huge deal here because the copywriting part is relatively easy. But then in Figma, the designer builds the design. So let's talk about the major UX principles that we use here. So first of all, you want to make sure that above the fold there is at least one call to action button. So most people, almost half of the people, they will never scroll down. So you want to put your main offer on the top. We typically use a hero image with a model or with a customer or customers, and then we also add the CTA button here. So for example, here it says Christmas, get 20% off, and here's code, and simply just click here, CTA button here. And then if you scroll down, then you will see even more product. And also, if people scroll down, what we like using, you can see this pattern across these emails. So this zigzag pattern basically. So or we can call it mosaic as well. So basically an image, text on the right, and then here it's the opposite, and then here is the opposite again. So left image, right text with CTA button again, and basically we just repeat this. So this really leads the eyes of readers, and basically that's what we want to achieve. We want to make it easy for people to scroll through the emails. When it comes to the width of the emails, we typically use 600 pixels, can be more, can be 800, sometimes 1000 if you want to make this really broad. But yeah, 600 is the go-to width that we typically use for our emails. One thing that I think it's simply overrated is the navigation bar on the top. We typically don't add this to our emails. Basically, we are just a fan of sharing one main thing for each email, and we don't want to distract people with these navigation bars. We are not big on social media icons. They are typically in the footer, but yeah, we just don't want to overdo those. When it comes to design, it's not just about making this beautiful, but actually what's been trending recently is being minimalistic. And why being minimalistic really works in UX design, because you want to remove all unnecessary cognitive load. So you want to make it super easy for people to read this, to scroll through, and just really find the number one message, that call to action that we really want to trigger. And following the same principle, we also add only one sentence per paragraph, or really maximum 2, but not more. So as you can see, this is super simple to read, to scroll through. The whole email is just so easy to scan through, and we don't want to use huge chunks of text basically. So just one sentence per paragraph and not more. When it comes to colors, you can see that while we follow branding and branding principles, and we use the brand guide of this brand and the brand colors, we still want to make this colorful, and even more important, we want to use enough contrast. So these CTA buttons, they really stand out, and that's super important. And also the main offer here, 20% off. Contrast is just so important. Same for your images. So we try to use enough contrast, and use 2 or 3 main colors for your emails. But again, principle of cognitive load, we don't want to use too many. And as you can see, this brand, they have a lot of imagery, which is great. But if you don't have those, here's my saving tip for you. So po.com, this is an AI tool, and you can simply come here, and let's say I want to generate an image of an Asian woman in her, let's say, 30s, in the golden hour, in a cafe, in a t-shirt, and make this photo realistic. Let's see what it comes up with. Et voila, we have this girl here. So yeah, this is not a bad start, and obviously we can make this even better. You can use this photo in your emails, and I think there are paid AI tools where you can even put your product on her, so it will be your actual product on your model. But this is a good start. And then when you use something like Photoshop, they have background removal. So now AI tools are really helpful for brands who don't have their own photos and imagery basically. But nowadays, if you want to be seen as a high quality brand with high quality products, then actually sharp and high quality images are really a priority. So don't use low quality or stock photos. I would also add that you want to use GIFs in your emails, because GIFs, they do a great job to draw people's eyes, and actually the click-through rate of GIFs is just higher than for images. So also experiment with GIFs. That's just something to really consider. So once we have our design emails, you want to cut this huge image file into slices, and then you can use any of the image compression tools to compress the images so they will be smaller. And then you can go to Klaviyo and then you can create your templates. And basically you would just go here, edit template, and here, let's say you add an image, and here you can just select your image and upload it basically. So most of the email will be images. If it's possible, then try to build those elements which are, let's say this part could be created by not using this image, because this is just text. So I can copy paste this and I can go here in the builder, and let's say I want to add text here. I just go here and I just add this, and I will move this to the center. So text. So I just added this text here. So this will not be an image file. And why you want to do this? Because if the whole email would be an image, unfortunately there is a higher chance of getting your email cropped and also ending up in the spam folder. So it's still true that if you use a lot of huge images, large images, then it can end up in the spam folder. So you can use images, of course, because this will engage your audience, especially if it's a fashion brand. But whenever it's possible, then try to use the text or the button elements of the builder in Klaviyo. So we compress the images, we slice them up, we try to use images where we try to use the builder elements like text or button where it's possible. So we did our best to use as little and as few images as possible, even for a design email. And once we have this, so you want to use the testing feature I showed you earlier. Why? Because if your email is too long, you use too large images or too many images, your email will get cropped. And for example, people, they will not see the unsubscribe at the footer. So it can lead to problems and spam complaints and inbox rate drop as well. So this is why you want to check your emails in your actual inbox if they don't get cropped. And if they do, then you need to change your email, make it shorter, compress your images, use fewer images, and all of those. So these are the main principles of email design. And finally, I will share this top 100 e-commerce email collection with everyone. So basically here we collected our top 100 emails from the past more than 1 year, and we categorized them based on open rates, click-through rates, generated revenue, and quite many of them, they generated more than $100,000. So pretty impressive results. And we also share some of our best A/B testing ideas. So you can go to this doc. Let's say this email generated $129,000 and open rate was almost 40%, 5% click-through, industry was arms, and basically this was the email, and you can just check that. So yeah, this is how it looked like. There is some nice design, but still a very simple email with a 22% off for 2 days. And this was sent to actually need attention segment. So especially impressive result because it wasn't sent to the most engaged subscribers. So check out this guide, I will share this too, and happy designing, guys. Okay, so now I will talk about copywriting in this section. And it's not random that you can see po.com here, which is basically an aggregator of the largest AI models that you can find on the internet. So ChatGPT is here, DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, Cloud, all of those. And if you watch this video a few months from now, I'm pretty sure there will be more and more advanced tools. But what I want to share with you is basically how to learn high-level copywriting. Even if you are a newbie, what are the most important things when it comes to high-converting copywriting? So when it comes to copywriting, actually good copywriting, it's not about writing, it's more about research. And basically, as a good copywriter, you should spend 60-80% of your time with research of the product, your audience, and you want to understand what angle, what offer you want to share with this audience. So it's not about some gimmicky tricks in your copy, but actually understanding your audience to the deepest and the most core level that you can. And actually that's how AI can help you nowadays. So shout out to Accelerated Agency. This is the agency of Karl Weisch, German CRO expert. and actually we use their free resources when it comes to creating an avatar for our clients. This is especially useful when we have a client who have not much clue about their audience and who buys their products. I will share this as a link below so you can use it, but basically this is quite simple. I typically use GPT for this. So yeah, you can just go here to the first doc and hey, today you are a world-class marketing analyst, and I just want to create a research for my proteins, let's say my protein creatine product. And if the client has some initial idea or you have about the product, you can add those here. If not, that's still fine. So this is a fitness product helping you with muscle growth and faster recovery. Typical buyer is a gym goer. So it's very vague, right? Because there are so many gym goers. That's why we need this research. And their biggest pain point is, let's say, unknown, because, yeah, for the sake of this experiment, we just don't know that. So, yeah, we will get some answer. And then, okay, next I will give AI some reviews. And let's say I go to my protein creatine product. I want to check, let's say, the UK site. Here you are. So this is the product. It's really cheap, by the way. So yeah, we got something cool. Now I will give you some reviews, Mr. GPT. And yeah, basically you can give this task for a VA, but you just want to copy paste minimum 50 reviews, I would say. So this is not for brands without reviews, not for completely new businesses. I think 20-30 reviews is something, 50 reviews is great, and 100 reviews, it's amazing, especially if it's per product. So you can do this by brand, product line, or per product as you prefer. Now I just edit this, and yeah, I pasted all the necessary reviews. And then now I will ask GPT to create all of these pain points, desired outcomes, purchase prompts, main unique value proposition, and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, let's do this and let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so we already have some good information. So pain points: struggling with muscle growth and strength plateauing, slow recovery times after intense workouts leading to inconsistent performance. And then it also says how common these are: desired outcomes, purchase prompts, main unique value proposition, unique features and benefits, uncertainty, perceived risk of people, objections. So that's a good start. And then as you start using these other prompts, what you will see that actually GPT will come up with really good quotes, phrases by the real buyer persona, using their actual language, how they speak and how their friends speak and their spouse would speak. So this is really powerful because you can use those snippets in your own copywriting actually. I will just move forward and get a bit deeper here. Okay, so now I added a couple more prompts from this document that I will share with you. Yeah, creatine might not provide visible results. That's fear number one. Fear two, concerns about bloating and water retention, making her look bigger, not leaner. Confusion about dosing or using the supplement incorrectly. So most common fears are here, and explaining why past solutions failed her. And this could come from a trusted friend. And actually you can use it in your landing pages or email marketing. Sarah, I get it. You've tried so many things, different supplements, workout routines, diets, and it's like you are spinning your wheels, right? You are putting in all this effort and it feels like nothing is working. But here's the thing. It's not because you are lazy or doing something wrong. It's because none of those solutions really address the root cause of what's holding you back. So this is really good copy, guys. You could just rephrase it and use it in your emails. Here I just made it a bit more casual, basically. And if you want, you can create a summary of everything, making it more concise. You can change different things. I think for this, I already did this before, this avatar, and here you can find everything like purchase triggers, emotional drivers, previous solutions this guy tried, what peers say. And here I really like these because these could be used in an email. So from this point on, it's just super simple because you can tell AI, okay, using this buyer persona and product, I want to write a promotional email where I give away, I don't know, let's say 20% off to our customers only for the next 48 hours. And now I have some specifics about this email, and you want to make it as specific as possible. But also, if this is the first time that you do this in your AI tool, then it's good to add some snippets, some knowledge about high converting emails. So I would say add 3 subject line examples that we can A/B test, use different angles for each. And then another best practice, make this email relatively short, storytelling based, and use the lingo of the customer avatar, and then make every sentence a separate paragraph so the email is more scannable. It's just a best practice as well for good copywriting. Add urgency by the end of the email and a PS section. That's just my personal preference. Everyone reads the PS section. And let's see what GPT comes up with here. Yeah, so these are the 3 subject lines: break through your plateaus, 20% off, stronger, faster, bigger, and now cheaper. And then here's the email. Let me guess, you are putting in the work in the gym, staying consistent, but somehow progress has slowed down. You are hitting the weights hard, but those strength gains you know you deserve, they are just not showing up. We've all been there. So here we build empathy, we agitate the pain, right? And then here's creative monohydrate, which comes in. This isn't some overhyped nonsense, it's pure, unfiltered science-backed goodness. And for the next 48 hours, we give you a 20% off. Yeah, it's not bad, I would say actually Cloud is better for copywriting at this point, so I will just go with Cloud and let's see what this comes up with. So yeah, this is the copy of Cloud. I think the subject lines are a bit long, so come up with 3 other subject lines and make them shorter. So let's say 4 words max, because most people will read the email on mobile, and there you can read much fewer words. So 20% off gains now, stronger starts today. This is not bad, I like that, this middle one. So yeah, you can experiment with those. Ever felt like you are putting in all the work but still hitting that frustrating plateau? I get it. You are not looking for magic, but just something that actually delivers on its promises. I think some formatting could happen here. Here's the code, 20% off. But this is not a bad start. So I really like how it builds empathy, how it introduces the product as a solution. This deal ends in 48 hours, and I mean it. It kills the discount at midnight on Thursday. So yeah, it's pretty good copywriting. You can tweak it if you want. You can make it smarter. Like one of my favorite is when the founder tells a story, so you can make it in that way. Or maybe these quotes from Sarah's friends could be used at the beginning of the email, and just telling people, this is what your friends have been telling you recently, so it's time to change things. Here's this product, you can check it out. So you can play around with the angles. But overall, I think AI is really powerful for copywriting, and don't undervalue it, but also don't overvalue it. So I think you still need to understand what good copywriting means, and human psychology and good research principles. Let's talk about that for a moment. So first of all, don't forget that the only purpose of a subject line is to get your email opened. You don't want to sell in your subject line. You just want to grab their attention for a moment so they open your emails. Once it happens, then basically the only purpose of your email body inside the email is nothing else that just getting the click to your website. So again, you don't want to sell the product here. That's not the main purpose. You just simply want to get a click to your website and they will buy on the website. So keep these in mind. And again, I really like this approach that every paragraph is a sentence. So it's just more scannable, especially on mobile. It's just so much easier to read than having big chunks of text, basically. Also, in the description, I will add 88 angles you can use to craft high open rate subject lines. This is something we've been using for years. So if you take a look at magazines, talking about Hollywood celebrities, I think they really mastered great headlines. And if you just use the same principles in your subject lines for email, then you will have a very high open rate. There are so many ways of doing that, basically. So once you have the research for your target audience, it can be for the whole brand, maybe or just for one product, it depends. But once you have it and use these prompts, it will be quite simple to craft additional emails. So I can go here and I can just say, okay, now I want you to write a content-based email talking about muscle growth. Use the language of the customer avatar and talk to them like a friend. The email is written by the founder of My Protein as a helpful guide to the subscriber. Then introduce the product in the PS section and add a CTA link to the product page. From this point on, you can just give these prompts, or your copywriters, they can do it, and you can come up with, limitless number of emails, basically. Yeah, and then of course, if you don't like it, you can always iterate. To your progress, founder's name, founder My Protein. Yeah, basically, it's a great story. Here's the PS where you just introduce the product in a by the way type of way, so not too pushy, and that's really it. So yeah, that's about email copywriting for now, and let's jump to design. Okay guys, so now we will talk about the most important email flows in the next few sections. And basically, I really like this graph I just want to share with you. Basically, this is a typical customer evolution or customer journey graph. So let's say somebody is just visiting your site for the first time, and they go to a product page. They don't even put anything into their carts and they just leave. If you already have their email, then they will get your browse abandonment flow. So browse abandonment flow is one of the least engaged flow types, I would say. So there you don't want to invest heavily into discounts, and there is a lower chance of conversion. However, a higher volume of people typically than for the next couple flows. As we go in this evolution, they can become a new subscriber, let's say through your pop-up, and then you can send them your welcome flow basically, and hopefully they will buy, they will convert. And then even beyond this, there is the cart abandonment flow and the abandoned checkout flow. So they are right before purchase, but for some reason they just leave your site and you can email them. And then once they become an existing customer here in the middle, you can send them these flows. So first of all, you would send a new buyer flow where you can try to upsell or even just to educate them or get a review. You can send a free feedback review request. You can try to cross-sell. As they go up on the ladder, they become VIP customers. You can send them a VIP flow where you can really invest into them and really trust these most loyal customers. And then if they become more lapsed and they are not engaged anymore, you can send them a re-engagement, a replenishment campaign, or a win-back campaign as well. And if those don't work and they don't convert, then ultimately they become a lapsed subscriber, and basically you want to remove them from your list. So this is just the big picture of flows. We will talk about these flows in the next couple sections. And first of all, I will start with the abandoned checkout flow, because I think this is the most well known. So basically, the abandoned checkout flow is for those people who put something into their carts and then they they go to the checkout on your site, but they leave and they simply just don't buy. One important thing though, if you want to do that, so let's say I will just go to this e-commerce store. Sorry, clicking your Google Ads, guys, but I will just go here and pick this product. So if I leave now, I will not receive an abandoned checkout flow. Maybe an edit to cart flow, yes, that I will talk about in the next section, but not a abandoned checkout flow. I need to go here and they must have my email. So either I'm already subscribed or I provide my email address here. So if I have this and email me with news and offers, and if I leave now, I will receive the abandoned checkout flow. But if I'm not here yet, I will not receive anything. I think it's just important to mention this because many people, they claim that this is an edit to cart flow or add to cart flow, but this is an abandoned checkout flow actually. So yeah, terminology is important here. Okay, so the next question, how to set up your abandoned checkout flow in Klaviyo, right? So yeah, I will use this new account, and actually if I go to flows, flow library, I will see, you know, different recommendations, and I can go here, view all ideas, and basically abandoned checkout. I think Klaviyo, they also call it abandoned cart. So yeah, now I will not argue on this, but yeah, abandoned cart reminder. And I would urge everyone to use these templates, and I will tell you why. First of all, it's just faster, but also you will see that Klaviyo can dynamically pull in the abandoned product, the product that visitors, they abandoned in their cart. Basically, it automatically pulls it in from your store, which is really handy. So you can use that dynamic block in your emails, and it's already built out. So the trigger is always checkout started. It comes from your e-commerce platform, and then you can add filters, profile filters. One is placed order 0 times since starting this flow. So basically, if anyone buys from one of these emails, then they will leave the flow automatically. One important thing is that these profile filters, they are checked after each email in Klaviyo. I could see many accounts where they set this filter up after each email, but you don't have to because it's automatically checked after each email. Also has not been in this flow in the last 7 days. Add these two filters, and you can find these in the doc as well. If you want, you can also separate people if they purchased in the past or they just never purchased. If you want, you can send an SMS. Now I will just delete that. I will just make an email flow. So I will delete the yes pass. So yeah, it just became an email flow now. And basically the structure, so the first one can go out after 1 hour. I wouldn't send it only after 4 hours. And then the other one, the second, can go out after 4 hours. So we send 2 emails within 5 hours. And then 24 hours later, you can send your third email. So in the flow builder, you can use these blocks. So yeah, I will just add this here, and basically 24 hours, save it, and I will just add the next email here. Obviously, you need to set this up, and then time delay again. Here I say 25 hours actually. So 25 hours. And then, you know, this is how you build out your flow basically. So when I click the first email, then this is a dummy default, obviously. Here you can edit the subject line, you can add the preview text. This is how it looks like on mobile, and we can edit the email here. So this is the drag and drop builder of Klaviyo. Basically, I think, you know, most email software tools, they have something very similar. So it's pretty easy to manage. You can also check the mobile view. I would always build on mobile first, by the way. And this is the dynamic block that you can see, and the recipients will see when they receive this email. You can also use the preview feature. So here you can see the product. I mean, I love this product, the Ladybird with extras, and then you can also see it on mobile. And if we go here, then you will see that this email will be sent out or already sent out to this person. And if you have many different visitors, you can actually check their cart. So you will see real examples of real emails going out in this preview. You can also send a test to your own email, so you can check it how it looks like in Hotmail or Gmail or whatever. This is how you can set this up. Now I will just click exit. You can also add an A/B test if you want. So maybe you just want to add a different subject line, a different template. So this is another subject line test, and then you just save this. So that's really it. The other thing, I would set this up here, and don't forget this. So you can enable UTM tracking. This will help you to check numbers in Google Analytics. I would recommend this. The other one is smart sending. So if you don't know what smart sending is, basically Klaviyo have this default setting. It's 16 hours. For SMS it's 1 day. So if somebody receives an email from you and this is enabled, then they will not receive this email within 16 hours after the last email that they received. So actually for flows we don't check this. We check this for campaigns. We rather send the flow emails because they typically have a higher revenue per recipient. They are behavior based. Somebody just abandoned their cart, so let's remind them. They are really close to buying, so it's an important email. While a campaign, it's typically more generic, even if you do a great job for segmentation. So that's why for flows we don't check this, and for campaigns we do. So, okay, now I will just save this one. So in this doc you will find everything, like what kind of subject lines you can use and preview text, what you can A/B test. I would really recommend A/B testing for your abandoned checkout flow, browse abandonment flow, welcome flow, because these flows, they have a very high traffic. So you can achieve high impact by running some successful A/B tests. And then regarding discounts, so in the first email, I would never give a discount. We always assume that people, they left their checkout because they just get interrupted by something. So don't be too fast on your discount. You can give it away in your second or even third email, and you want to give them some urgency so they will buy. They will, feel actually their cart will be lost and they cannot buy anymore. So make sure that you set this up. Also in Shopify, make sure you turn this off so the two flows don't go out at the same time. And abandoned checkout is something really efficient. Overall, when you check your analytics, then the placed order rate of each emails altogether should be at least 10% in Klaviyo. So just go into your flow builder, check placed order rate percentage for each of your emails in this flow, and if you add them up, they should be minimum 10% altogether. So now let's jump to the next email flow. Okay, so the next email flow will be the abandoned cart email flow, or edit to cart email flow, I think in Klaviyo, that's how they call it. That's the trigger of the flow. So basically this flow will be received by those people who don't get to the checkout. They add the product into their carts and we already have their email, or we get it somehow, and then we can email them, but they don't get to the checkout. So basically the trigger here will be checkout started, and this can come from your Shopify as a metric, or you can set this up as a custom API if you are not on Shopify. You can talk Klaviyo support and they will help you on this. And then you want to add filters for this, such as checkout started 0 times, placed order 0 times, and edit to cart 0 times since starting this flow. And also we added that they haven't been in this flow in the last 10 days. Okay, so when it comes to this email flow, now we have 2 emails in this one, but yeah, this is not working for this store. When it comes to best practices, I would say that you want to have at least 4 or 5 emails in this one, and similar to the abandoned checkout flow, you want to assume that they left because of some interruption. So you don't want to give them a discount in the first 1 or 2 emails. Basically, you just want to remind them. You can tell them your cart is waiting, or your pending order, or even your order. That's a great subject line actually. And you want to build some trust, because that's one of the most common objections why people leave, if it's not really because of some interruption during that day. So add customer reviews, add the faces of happy customers, especially related to the product which is in the cart. I think with Klaviyo reviews you can make it dynamic, so people, they will see reviews of product that they left in their cart. And The email itself, it's very similar to the abandoned checkout. So basically here there is the dynamic product block. They will see the price of the product, the name of the product, and they can just go back by clicking this button to check out. So I will exit this now. And you also want to turn on the UTM tracking if you use GA4, and you want to keep this unchecked, the smart sending basically. So everyone will receive this email. And in the later emails, you can introduce a discount, you can build urgency. So again, this is quite similar to the abandoned checkout flow, I would say. Even the discounting strategy is quite similar. And you can A/B test. I would especially A/B test subject lines. That typically has the highest impact. So keep it short, keep it simple. People, they are really used to abandoned checkout and cart emails these days. So they will know the drill, and you just want to play on that basically. So yeah, this is the edit to cart email. Again, if you don't have the trigger set up already, just reach out to Klaviyo, and they will help you add this metric so you can trigger this flow for your own business as well. Alright, so now we will continue with probably the most important flow, which is the welcome flow, and pop-ups as well, because as you will see, it's the best way to get email subscribers. And honestly, this is such a common conversation with clients and potential partners that they doubt and they just don't understand the importance of pop-ups, while actually just so underrated even today. Basically, just to know the stats, so only 0.25% of new visitors make a purchase of their first visit. Even if your website conversion rate is, I don't know, 3-4%, just a tiny fraction of these people will buy for the first time. Nowadays, marketing, it's about being there and just repeating awareness as many times as you can. So the sooner you get to 7, 8, 10, 12 touch points with someone, they can see you as many times, so they will ultimately buy. And actually, email marketing is a great way of achieving that in a very cheap way, right? Because you have to pay for ads, retargeting ads, for example, but for email, you don't have to. 75% of visitors who leave a website intend to return later to make a purchase. It's based on a research, you know, it's not some bullshit number, but actually most people, they will come back and they ultimately want to buy. So, you know, why not to send them emails? The last point is more about the how. So exit intent pop-ups can increase sign-ups by 600%. If you don't know what exit intent means, when you are on a website, when you move your cursor upwards to one of the corners of your screen, then basically this pop-up will be triggered. So this does a great job to detect, you know, when you want to leave the website. What I'm trying to say here is that don't sit on pop-ups and sign-up forms, because most people, they will not immediately buy, and you want to retarget them. You want to be there when they want to make the final call to make a purchase. And this can be with retargeting ads, this can be with SMS marketing and email marketing. And to get their emails, you cannot rely on checkouts only, or you know, other ways how you can get their emails. But actually, pop-ups is the main way how you can get most email addresses. So don't sit on them. Pop-ups is just so underrated still today. So regarding pop-ups, what's the right way of doing this? Most people, they are skeptical about pop-ups, and they tell me that they hate pop-ups and it's just so annoying, it's terrible. I understand your point. However, today everything is measurable in digital marketing. Second, I cannot repeat this enough times, this will grow your email list in the fastest possible way, unlike any other methods. Pop-ups is just so important, but you want to consider the best practices. So make sure that the UX is simply not annoying, especially on mobile. We all know those pop-ups which are just huge, clunky, you cannot find the X to close it, especially on mobile. So you just leave the website and you just say screw it. So yeah, make sure the UX is good. And how can you make sure that it's not annoying? So make sure that your trigger is it actually makes sense. So it can be exit intent, we use it almost every time for desktop, and then it can be inactivity after X seconds, after 5 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. And then another could be simply time spent on a certain page. I will show you how you can set this up in a minute. For a blog post, it can be also scroll depth. So if somebody scrolls minimum 50% of the blog post, then they will see a pop-up with an offer because they are engaged enough. Basically, you want to make sure that the trigger of your pop-up simply makes sense. We typically use, for desktop, we use exit intent and time delay. For mobile, we typically use time delay only or sometimes inactivity on the screen. So what tools we recommend for pop-ups? I would name 3. So my favorite is Optimonk. I will show you this in a minute, how you can use it. And then we have Klaviyo, which is inside Klaviyo. So it's just most convenient for most brands if you want to have everything in one place. However, I would say Optimonk has way more features than Klaviyo. Even if Klaviyo improved a lot, they are still not there. And then the last one would be Recard. This is a special one because this is an SMS marketing tool. You cannot send emails using it, but the experience is just simply amazing when it comes to their pop-ups. So I can go to a website, let's say this one, and I will try to trigger their pop-up. Yeah, here we go. So I will just subscribe on this one, get 10% off. So this is a standard offer. Basically here, the first model window tells people you can subscribe with your email. It's very important that we tell people what the offer is. So we don't try to hide like you will get some discount or crazy offer or free something, because then you will see that your conversion rate, your opt-in rate will be probably higher, but the list quality will be shittier. So, you know, many people, they will subscribe because they expect something big. Freebie people, basically, they want something for free. They have no money to spend and they just subscribe, but they will never open your email. So you want to avoid that. That's why we are always upfront about the offer. And then, okay, now I subscribe. And then the next model window is SMS. So basically what you can do is you upsell an even higher incentive to get SMS subscriber. And this is standard practice. So this is what we typically do for most clients. And then here you add some disclaimer, super simple. You just want to meet the legal requirements. Don't forget this. So yeah, you just add your US phone number here. Yeah, we are good. Here basically you can see the thank you modal window of the pop-up. So this is a 3-step pop-up. Email first with a yes, no question, and then with an offer, straight offer. Second is SMS with an upgraded offer, and the third is simply a thank you modal window. And then here, if you want, you can show the discount code. People, they can immediately copy paste it and use it. But if you rather want to nurture people, educate people to open their email inbox and their SMS inbox, you rather want to not give them the code. And yeah, now I have to go to my email and SMS inbox to get my discount code. So yeah, this is how you can do this, and this is how it would look like. And then here in this doc, you will see some extra things about design and copy. The copy must be relatively straightforward. You don't want to be, I don't know, too wordy on this. Maybe you can have some humorous tone of voice, but I wouldn't overdo anything regarding this. So now let's check Optimonk, my favorite tool when it comes to pop-up. I will just sign up with a new account. Okay, looks good. And the next would be you want to connect your store. So this is my Shopify store and I will add this here. So you want to get into Shopify and you want to enable your pop-up so it will be connected. So this link takes me to the right place in Shopify and I will need to find Optimonk. So yeah, here it is. I enabled the script and I need to save it. And it's super simple. So yeah, this is done, and save it might take a few minutes. Okay, so I connected the two, and probably we need a couple more minutes to connect the two. So basically here you can go to new campaigns and create a pop-up. Yeah, I really like these templates that you can pick from. So pop-up, you can make gamified pop-up, side message, embedded content, image pop-up. So you can play around with this. I would rather just go with a pop-up or maybe with a side message where the pop-up appears, and if somebody closes that it would be still a widget at the bottom. So I will just pick this pop-up template and yeah, I will not go deep into design, I will use this template. Looks like now Optimonk and Shopify are connected finally. So yeah, basically here you can add an image if you want. The logo is there, get our special offer. So unlock your 10% offer. Yeah, 10% off offer. And basically when they subscribe, they will get to the next one. Here we can add the coupon code or we can remove it. I typically just remove it, and don't forget to check your email inbox to use your discount code. You can also add this that take me to best sellers. Also, you will be surprised that many people, they don't actually use the discount code. So that's the other reason why I wouldn't add the discount code here. Many people, they just don't do that, they just buy. So don't lose margins if it's possible. If you wanna be more, smarter about this, one option could be that you tell people that you just won free credits that they can use. So instead of making people feel cheaper about your brand, it's always better to give them something, some bonuses. And if you tell them, hey, you just unlock $10 credit that you can use, for example, yeah, I think this just feels so much better, right? And on mobile, this is how this would look like. I would make it probably a bit smaller, the whole pop-up. So yeah, you can change the image settings as well, and then go to next. Okay, we are good. You can add many elements here. So this is why I really like Optimonk. You can add even a video, which is crazy, or you can use GIFs, content timers, that's something that really works. Urgency, basically, radio buttons, checkboxes. So why I like these as well, because here you can add options to people. For example, what's your main skincare problem? Dryness or oily skin or something else, and then they can pick one option. And then basically we get zero-party data from the pop-up that later you can use in your email campaigns or even in your welcome flow and make the email more personalized based on this information. So yeah, now the design is good. I mean, obviously it's pretty basic, but it's just for demonstration. And now I just left the editor, and what you can do here, you can make this active. You can even schedule it, which is super handy with, let's say you wanna create a Valentine's Day or Black Friday pop-up. So you can even schedule it. There is even priority. Basically, when there are two pop-ups and they would appear at the same time, you can decide which one should appear for the first time. And I really love this feature because there are so many brands where I can see two pop-ups appearing within 1 minute, and it's just super annoying. I would definitely leave that website. But here you can actually avoid that problem. You can also add A/B test variants if you want. That's something that we do quite often with pop-ups actually. And here you can check when this pop-up would appear. That's something really important. So exit intent, it's already added both for mobile and desktop. So that's great. And then here you can set up how many times this campaign can appear for someone, maximum twice. I typically set this just one. Frequency, how soon this campaign appear again after a visitor has closed it. 1 hour, I think that's perfectly fine. And stop showing once a visitor has converted. So once they subscribe, they will never ever see this again. And then next to targeting, so exit intent, it's already added, but yeah, 15 seconds spent on the page. So this will be changed. I will change it soon. Or engage with Optimonk campaigns and has not converted before. But if you want, you can add new rules. So exit intent, or where they came from, what traffic source, what's their country, if they are a subscriber yet or not. This is already integrated with Klaviyo. We can select a list. Actually, I need to integrate with Klaviyo first, but once it's done, Optimonk can see if they already subscribed or not. So, there are just so many things. If there are something in their cart, and you can set all of those on Optimonk. And then integrations, it's integrated with GA. I will actually set up Klaviyo as well. You need to add the API key of your account. I add the public API, and then I create this one. Okay, let's create this here, add name, so Optimonk Klaviyo integration. Next. And here we can see the list, so I will add this to my email list. And yeah, email is email, new checkbox checkbox will be, in Klaviyo you need to set up a custom property for this. Now I will not do that. Coupon title, okay, this is done. So because now Klaviyo and Optimonk are integrated, you can see it here. I can go back and I can add a new rule. For example, if somebody is a subscriber, the campaign will not appear. So this is super handy. Yeah, because we already have their emails, right? So we don't need that. So overall now exit intent is added. Engage with the Optimonk campaigns. If they already did and subscribe, they will not see this anymore, but you can add the subscriber as well. Let's say I want to show this pop-up in the US only, so you can add that too. So the conditions are really good, and you know, Klaviyo is not like this. And then you can show a pop-up to returning visitors or new visitors only. That's also an option that we use a lot. But now I want to show you how much time, after how many seconds this should appear. So how we typically do this, we go to Google Analytics and we check how much time people spend on the website on the average. So yeah, I want to show this as well, that how much time, so how many seconds people spend on the site. Based on this, we change when the pop-up should appear. And I typically recommend that in GA4 you can check how many seconds visitors they spend on the website on the average, and then you use the average time or maybe a bit more. So let's say if the average time is 30 seconds, I would add like 35 and save it, and that will be your time trigger. Okay, so now the pop-up is active. It still says the code is not inserted. I think I need to reach out to support, but for you it should work because this is clearly enabled. It's saved just as the guide says, so it should appear when these conditions are met in Optimonk. So now this is connected to Shopify, connected to Klaviyo, and when somebody subscribes, their email will end up in our main list. Basically now we have only one email list, this one. When you have multiple pop-ups and sign-up forms, you want to be clear where they go, to what email list they go, and also when they join this email list, that will trigger your welcome flow. So you must be clear about this. We can see that people, you know, businesses, they set up a coupon code of 5% into a pop-up, and then another 10%. The third has free shipping, and then all of these pop-ups, they are connected to the same email list, which triggers the welcome flow. And they have only one. Maybe they have three, but they just forgot to making sure that the connections are correct. So people, they end up in one welcome flow with one discount code, while some people, they expected something else from those other pop-ups. So yeah, just make sure that each pop-up is connected to the right email list. Okay, so now regarding the welcome flow, I would say this is the easier part. You can use this template here. So when somebody is added to email list, here if you have multiple lists, you will see all of them. Now I only have one email list, but basically this is the trigger. And now select who gets the coupons. So all new subscribers, or you can add other definitions as well. Yeah, I would send this to all new subscribers actually. You can use a unique coupon code, so this will be dynamically generated, and everyone gets a different code, or you can make it static. I would always use a unique coupon code so they cannot abuse it, misuse it. And here you can create your coupon. So let's say welcome 10, and this will be, let's say, a percentage. So it will be 10% entire order, and the activation is at send time. Expiration, you can add, let's say, 2 days, so they cannot use it forever. Next, so yeah, delay, I would say only 1 day, and next, and continue. And now we will continue with the manual setup. When it comes to the welcome flow, so basically here, for most e-commerce brands, we don't want to educate too much. So we rather want to grab the attention of people and give them the offer that we promised. And then you can keep educating them in your emails. Yeah, you can build brand familiarity. You can talk about your brand and educate them, nurture nurture them. I would say if you sell something more expensive than $200, then I would definitely educate people. If you sell something really expensive, maybe you don't even want to give them, discounts and things like that. You rather want to give them a bonus if they buy. So like a free t-shirt, if they buy a $500 jewelry or, something related. I will edit this because I don't like this. So what someone has done, placed order, I will delete this conditional split here, delete. So basically we want to have only one path now. And I want to make sure that this is UTM tracked and also everyone gets this. So keep this check mark unchecked, save it. So in the first email, they get the 10% off. Obviously make this email nicer. And as a flow filter, I will add a couple things that you will find here. So placed order 0 times since starting this flow, because if they do, they will get into the new customer flow. So placed order 0 times since starting this flow. The next one will be started checkout 0 times, because then they go to the abandoned cart flow. And then following the same logic, I will add that view product 0 times since starting this flow, 0 times since starting this flow. And then if you had the abandoned cart flow, then you will have the edit to cart metric and do the same with that as well. So yeah, we are good to go. And again, these filters are checked after each email, so you don't need to add any conditional splits. If you sell relatively cheaper products, $50, $100, then education is less important for new subscribers in most cases. So we typically just design 3 emails. Yeah, we give them the coupon code, we build urgency, scarcity there, and first one was 1 day, and then this is actually 12 hours later with an urgency email. So this is how your sequence will look like basically. And once they engage further, they get further in the customer journey and they become more engaged. So this is everything you need to know about pop-ups and the welcome flow, and see you in my next section. Okay, now let's continue with the browse abandonment flow. So this is for those people who go to your site, they visit one of your product pages, but they don't put anything into their carts or they don't even reach the checkout. So you might ask, how can we email them if we don't ask for their emails at that point? So we can email them only if we already have their emails. They purchased before, they signed up through a pop-up or sign-up form, they bought before, so we have to have their emails obviously. You can go to your flows and check the library, or here I can actually create this. It will take me to the library, and similar to the abandoned checkout flow, I would recommend that you use the template, because the dynamic product block will be added automatically, and also the trigger. So you will see here that the trigger is actually viewed product, and if you go here and if your site is active, you should see numbers here. So you will see each day how many people they browsed your product pages, and that shouldn't be 0 if you have site traffic. Yeah, that's the trigger. And then profile filters, checkout started 0 times, placed order 0 times, has not been in the flow in the last 30 days. And if you have an abandoned cart flow, you also want to add one more, which is that they haven't added to cart any product, because then they would enter the abandoned cart flow basically. Okay, so now I will delete SMS marketing, delete the yes pass. So this will be only an email flow. And when it comes to best practices, so similar to the other 2 flow types I shared, in the first email we don't give away a discount. Actually here in the first 3 emails, we don't give away a discount, because the actual value of these visitors is one of the lowest. They just browse the product page, but they haven't added anything to their carts, didn't reach the checkout, so their value is lower. Even if you give them a discount, keep it low. I would not give away more than 10% in most cases. 1 hour after browsing, you can already send the first email, even less than 2 hours. So we send out the first email, and yeah, we can check how this email looks like. So obviously this will be super dummy. Let's edit. And yeah, this is on desktop, this is on mobile, and we can preview it. So yeah, this is what a real person would see. Obviously, we want to have a better design and copy. This is just for demonstration. So once this is done, we can add the next time delay here. So it says 4 hours later. So let's add 4 hours, save, and then you can add the next email here and then a next time delay here. So that's 24 hours later. So 24 hours later, okay, and then the next email and so on and so forth. And you will build your whole flow. Similar to the other flows, you want to turn on UTM tracking. I would uncheck this, so make sure that everyone receives all of these emails regardless. A/B testing, just like for the other flows, subject line testing is the most important one. And the other could be that you actually separate people in your flow with a conditional split. So I will add this here. You can separate them if they purchased in the past or not. So placed order at least once over all time. And this can be a yes or no. And if this is a yes, then maybe you can give them a discount in the first email, or you can give them a higher discount later on. While if they never purchase, they are lower value for you, for their business. So just use the regular browse abandonment flow. This conditional split can be used in abandoned checkout, abandoned cart flows as well. Feel free to test it as well. These are the main ones about the browse abandonment flow. And don't sit on this one. I can see most businesses, they set up the abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, but they don't have a browse abandonment. And honestly, it's one of the lowest hanging fruit out there when I audit a Klaviyo account. It's just so interesting because there is a huge volume of people checking your product pages who don't buy, who don't even go to the checkout. That will be the largest volume, and you wanna email them with a great offer. This flow can generate more revenue than an abandoned checkout or abandoned cart for most businesses out there. So again, don't sit on this. That being said, now let's jump to the next email flow. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the new customer flow and what's the role of the new customer flow. So as your visitors, they become more engaged and finally they decide to buy from you, they become first-time buyers, first-time customers. And actually this flow is one of the most important ones because they just decided to vote for your brand with their money. Now you want to make sure that they trust you and they are okay to do it again and again in the future. This is a crucial point because, if this flow is not good, then this is the fastest way to lose their trust, to see them anymore. So this is super relevant. This is why in this flow we don't just want to upsell or cross-sell, but we also want to build trust, nurture them, educate them, ask for reviews, and really committing them to your brand in the long run. Because remember, if you have only one-time customers, ultimately, eventually your brand will die. You need returning customers to make a valuable business in e-commerce. So how to set this up? So you can go to your flow builder. We already have a few flows here now, and basically this will be a new customer flow, right? Actually Klaviyo, they have a few templates, so if I go here, I'm sure I will find a few. And then I think they use this approach that based on the purpose of the flow, they have multiple new customer flows like customer thank you, or I saw others as well, like customer thank you, and then post-purchase follow-up, all of those. I will just go with one. I will think simple, and let's use this template. And basically here what you can see, based on their purchase history, how many times they purchased in the past, there will be a repeat customer thank you flow and the new customer flow. I typically keep these as separate flows. Now I will just delete this branch, and I want to delete the yes path. Basically people will enter this flow when they place an order. This info comes from Shopify. For the profile filters, you want to add these. Somebody placed an order equals 1 overall time. So this makes sure that only first-time buyers join this flow. Has not been in this flow before, so anytime. So they can only enter this once. And then placed order is 0 since starting this flow. So once they place an order again, they will automatically leave this flow. Placed order 0 times since starting this flow. And I think we are good to go. Regarding the structure, you can build 5 email. So I would say this is a relatively longer flow, and you can decide, between a few strategies. So I would say there is one approach which says that once they buy, you should immediately upsell, cross-sell other items, and you can tell them we are just preparing your package, but you get an extra 15% discount or 20% discount if you buy additional items in the next 48 or 24 hours. You can get the same product in the same package, that's no problem. So you incentivize people. I think it's a relatively cheaper product, and if it's more like an impulse buy, it would make sense. Also, if your shipping time takes a long time, because the other approach is that you rather say thank you to these people, and once they receive the package, at that time when they have it already and they are happy and they unbox it, they have it finally, then you ask for the upsell. That's the other approach. So you can really choose whatever makes more sense for your products and business. We typically try to upsell right after the purchase because they are still warm, they are still in buying mode. So we want to push another purchase if it's possible. And then the later emails, basically they are more about social proof, customer reviews, testimonials. We tell about the brand. We tell people how to use the product, how to keep it clean, how to keep it useful, especially if it's a more expensive product. And then depending your shipping time, you can also give them some relief that your product is on the way, and don't worry, in the meantime you can read this article, you can watch this video, and so on and so forth. So we keep them excited about their purchase basically. I would say it largely depends on your shipping time. So if your shipping time takes only 1 day, then you don't have much time to educate them, you don't have to. I would send them the upsell offer immediately, and once they have the product, I would ask for customer reviews, ask their opinion, share their opinion on social, and educate them. And if your shipping time is 5-7 days or even more, then I would rather make sure that they stay calm during the shipping process. We can educate them and teach them, and once they have the product, we can ask for reviews. So it depends on your shipping time, the product that sell, but these are the most common approaches that you can use. And again, this flow is typically longer than most flows because we really want to establish trust in their eyes. We really want to make sure that they want to come back. Basically, the biggest goal, the biggest achievement email flow is to get them to buy again. Just the other day we audited the brand, and it turned out that 50% of their customers, they buy again within 10 days after their first purchase, and that's something you want to achieve. And ideally you want to make this time frame even shorter, and you want to increase the percentage of people who buy again in such a short time period after their first purchase. So this is the ultimate goal of your new customer flow. Okay, so now let's talk about the VIP email flow. What the VIP email flow is. So unlike the other flows where the definition was quite arbitrary, like who are the people who can join this, the VIP flow and its definition, actually it depends more on you and your strategy. Because basically with this email flow, you want to give special offers to those subscribers and customers who are your VIPs. And you decide who those are for you. So I think the best way to think about this, if you want only a few percentage of your customer subscribers to be called VIPs, or you rather want to have a broader range of your subscriber base and you want to call them VIPs. So it can be up to even 50% if you really want, or you can call your whole list VIP, but probably that wouldn't serve the purpose, right, that you want to achieve. So you decide, and I will show you how to do this. So how to define your VIP customers, and there are a few ways of doing this. So number of orders could be one, place minimum 3 orders, minimum 5 orders in the last 1 year. Total spend, this is my favorite because here we check the lifetime value, spend at least $500 or something else. Average order value, so people who purchased for minimum $100 or $200 over the whole time or just last time. So there are many ways to define this. My favorite is more like the total spend, the lifetime value. So let me show you how to set this up. So for example, you can go here and create a new segment, and I will just call it VIP segment and test. And then first of all, you want to pick that someone can receive email marketing, so they are subscribers. And secondly, we want to pick predictive analytics, and here Klaviyo combines and collects all the data. Some of them are predicted, others are historical data. It can predict people's gender, subscribers' gender, average order value, average days between orders. But what you want to pick can be historic customer lifetime value, so their total spent in the past. So this is actual past data. Or if you want, you can pick even total customer lifetime value, which is the past lifetime value they spent already, but also there is a prediction of the future one. So this is only a prediction part of it. So that's why I would rather go with historic customer lifetime value. I don't know this brand and their customer base as much, but let's assume it's 500 USD, and let's create this segment now. So while this is being created, you can even segment further your VIPs, and Klaviyo has their advanced analytical tool, which is an extra package you can get, but there you can even dissect different segments even further. When it comes to the structure of the email flow, you can decide if it's 3, 4, 5 or even more emails, but basically you want to make sure that you treat your VIPs in the best possible way and the best affordable way. This depends on your business. Most likely if you are a more matured brand, you can give them more. If you are just starting out, you have limited resources, so you can give them less options and nice things. But the least creative option is actually a 20% coupon code or 25%. One thing you can do is giving them a lifetime coupon code that they can use again and again. I think that's really generous to do. Additionally, you can give them bonuses, you can give them credits, you can invite them to live events. So, sky's the limit regarding the creativity that can have. And in the next few emails, you can also ask them to become brand ambassadors, or you can show them exclusive products and product ideas for the future. You can also ask for their feedback, suggestions. You can initiate a two-way conversation between the founder and the VIP customer. So again, sky's the limit how creative you can be on this. You can see that the timing is a bit different than usual. So unlike for most flows, here we have time. So we are okay to send them only one email per week, which really nurtures them as a VIP. That's why we have 7 days time delay. You can make it even longer, but we don't want to email them every day or every second day. It's not about that. I know brands having 20 emails in this flow and they just send one a week for 20 weeks. So for almost 6 months, which is just, it works for them. So this is the VIP flow in a nutshell. Once this segment is created, let's see, historic lifetime value is greater than $500 and can receive emails. So this is actually 2,000 people, 2,340 people, and all active subscribers is 56,000. So roughly 5% of people, they are in this VIP category. I think that's not bad to start with. And then you can go here and create a flow. You can build your own. I will just call it VIP test flow and create it manually. And the trigger will be actually a segment. So when somebody is added to segment, I won't find the segment I just created, VIP test. Yeah, so VIP test here. And then we want to add the right profile filters, which is no additional filters needed. Basically, we don't have to add the filter because even if they buy again, they can keep getting the emails every 7 days. That's completely fine. Actually, there are no other filters here. And basically, you can add your time delay as usual. So it will be 1 hour after joining the segment. So, yep. And then first email goes out, and yeah, you can just set your emails as usual for a flow. So yeah, this is the VIP flow. Okay, so this is the final section regarding email flows. You must already have a couple flows here going on, and here I will share basically 5 different ideas that you can implement, because actually in Klaviyo there are a countless number of email flows that can actually set up. So it really just depends on your priorities and your strategy, how you set up your flows and what flows you set up initially. So I would continue with the win-back flow. Win-back flow is for basically those subscribers who placed an order at least once in the past, but they just became unengaged over time. They became lapsed customers and you want to win them back. The goal here again is just to win them back, and this is why you can actually be quite aggressive when it comes to your strategy. We typically see that the open rate of this flow is really 5-10%. Click rate is maybe 1%, but usually less. You can be aggressive. Not many of them they will buy, and actually if your engagement rate is higher and your placed order rate, then it's a sign that you should send this win-back flow to fewer people and later. Maybe you think that people after 60 days they become unengaged, you have to win them back, but if the engagement is still high, then actually you should do that later, after 20 days, 180 days and so on. So just keep that in mind. And regarding your strategy, you can be aggressive, so you can give them really strong discounts, exactly because not many will buy. So you will either burn these people and just they will leave you forever, or they win them back. So this is really a two-way thing. So yeah, when it comes to the setup, super simple. Simply you set up the flow, and the trigger is actually placed order. So I will go here, and I'm pretty sure there is a template. Here it is. So yeah, the trigger is placed order, and there is only one flow filter, which is placed order 0 times since starting this flow. So if they buy at any point after your emails, they will immediately remove from your email flow. You can also add this one has not been in this flow in the last 180 days or whatever. I would add the same number of days here, what you have here. So basically everyone who places an order, they enter your email flow, but they will only receive the first email if they don't do anything for 75 days. Or I would make it a longer time period, 90 days, 180 days and so on. It largely depends on your customer journey. So if they buy a supplement every month, then this could work. If they buy a furniture every 3 years from you, then obviously this will not work. So this time delay must be even years in that case. This is the flow. Actually sending 5 emails, honestly, I will just delete this from here. I don't recommend that. So send 2, maybe 3, because this will be a relatively large number of people. Because your engagement will be very low, this can ruin your deliverability of your account. So yeah, don't send more than just 2 or 3, and you can send 1 every 30 days, and if they don't engage, then you can ultimately just remove them. So yeah, I will actually rewrite this here. So the first one doesn't have to be a discount, and then the second can be, I would say, a strong discount. So even 30%, that's fine, depending on your margins. The last one can be a bigger discount, or you repeat the same discount. It's really up to you. I will go hardcore and say 25-35% off. So yeah, I will make it like this, final chance email, and that's really it. We can delete this. So send 2 or 3 emails and not more, because of what I just told you. There is another one which is called re-engagement email flow. So the concept is quite similar, but this is actually for those subscribers who never purchased from you. So this is not for past customers, but this is for people who actually never purchased. They subscribe to your email, but honestly, these are your least engaged audience who are subscribed. So inactive email subscribers, and you want to win them back. The trigger is that they subscribe to your list minimum X days ago and hasn't opened or clicked an email in the last X days. Can be 90, 180. Again, this depends on your customer life cycle. And your flow filters: not engaged, opened or clicked an email in the last 90 or 180 days, never placed an order, and has not been in this flow. Structure is very similar. So here I would send a maximum 2, maybe 3 emails. You don't have to be as pushy on discounts. Again, they never actually purchased. Yeah, you can just remind them and really nudge them, and if they don't buy, then ultimately you will just suppress them. The next one is really fascinating. So this was the first really handy AI-based flow, I would say, the add-on flow, expected date of next order flow. So basically what this flow does, this will tell you what's the next most likely date when somebody will buy from your store. And this has a high accuracy. In the past we use replenishment flows. Now we use expected date next order flows. Just really accurate, especially if somebody buys a product minimum 3-4 times, because Klaviyo then it has a lot of data. So you can really rely on this. And how you want to set this up, so you can go here and let's see, estimated or add-on. Yeah, it's not in the library. So yeah, you can build it on your own. Let's say add-on flow, create this, and it's super simple. So let me show you how to set this up. So you go here and basically your trigger will be date property, and here you can pick different date properties of different actions. So last act, first active, but what we want to pick is expected date of next order here, and there will be a date, right? But you can send the email before that particular date or on that date or even after. So how this flow is set up typically, let's say there is an estimated date of next order, and we want to send the first email 7 days before, and we tell people, okay, time to restock because your supplement, it's probably running low now, and we don't give them a discount. It's just a friendly reminder basically. So here I will add before the property value, let's say 10 days before, and at 12 p.m. recipient's local time. I'm fine with that, and this can be repeated monthly or yearly or never if you want. Okay, next, and profile filters. So as a filter we will add that placed order 0 times is starting this flow. So once they start the flow and they purchase, then they will leave the flow. So placed order at least once since starting this flow. And if you want, you can add the abandon checkout, browse abandonment, all of those. Now I will not do that. I'm fine if they get both flows actually. So you can confirm and save. Now I will not do that. I think you understand how to set this up. So 7 days before they get this one without a discount, and then exactly on the expected reorder date, we can give them a small discount or you don't have to if you don't want. And then 3-7 days later, you can send a small discount, and then 14 days after expected reorder, you can send them another one. Actually, honestly, I would change this a bit. So this was just a recommendation, but yeah, I wouldn't give a discount if they don't buy accurately on the same day, because you know some people, they will use the supplement for a longer time. I think most people, they don't take daily, for example. If it's recommended, take the supplement daily. So I think that's completely fine. And then 7 days later, you can give them a small nudge and a small discount. So this is a really handy flow. I would send this out every single time, so you can repeat it monthly. That's completely fine. It's just a really friendly reminder, and actually this can be a huge revenue generator for you. Okay, so now I will leave this one, cover all parts of your customer journey. You can set this up. So the next one is the site abandonment email flow, and where this actually stands is basically it's a bit similar to your browser abandonment flow, but the engagement here, it's even less. So probably here you have the least engagement. So basically everyone who visits your site, they don't add anything to the cart, they don't go check out, they don't buy, they don't even visit your product pages. They just visit the site. Let's say they go to your home page, they go to your contact page, about page, but they never even visit your product page. They will receive this email flow. So obviously these are not engaged people at all. They don't know much about you. So for this one, the trigger can be visited the website and didn't start checkout, add product to the cart, or browse the product page. You have to exclude all of these basically. And then flow filters, placed order 0 times, edit to cart 0 times, basically the same thing here, and they have not been in this flow in the past. If you want, you can give them a small discount. You don't have to actually. You can send them 3-4 emails in like 3 days, and I would not make it longer because again, these are not engaged much. So the last one is subscription renewal and replenishment flow. So this one is a bit similar to your estimated date of next order flow, the add-on flow that I just showed you above. But the main difference here, you want to use the add-on flow for those stores and products where there is no subscription, because a subscription is nothing else than a planned reorder. So once the customer subscribes, then they will know that every month I will automatically pay and get this product. But if you set up an add-on flow, that's for products that they actually need to buy by themselves every single time. So unlike the add-on, this one is for real subscriptions. So this subscription renewal or replenishment flow is for subscription stores, and the trigger is when the subscription expiry approaching and the last order happened X days ago and product requires replenishment soon. And once they place an order in the flow, they will automatically leave this flow. So obviously for this you need to integrate Klaviyo with your... Okay, so once we went through all the flows, major Klaviyo flows that you have to know and implement, now let's talk about email campaigns. So this is the other half of email marketing, and most businesses when they start a new Klaviyo account, and even you just start a new business, you will see that initially your flows will make more sales, because flows, they are basically retargeting of your existing traffic and they are behavior based. So when you have an incoming traffic to the site and somebody abandons the cart or visits the site or leaves the checkout, or they buy or they become a VIP customer, they will get automated flows. So it will generate revenue almost immediately, while campaigns, they rather build on your existing email list. And at the beginning you will have a very small email list. So for a 500 people list, it doesn't even make any sense to send email campaigns, So you need some volume there, but once you have it, it will be a growing snowball. And when you have 50K, 100K, 200K, or God knows even 1 or 2 million subscribers on your list, most likely those email campaigns will generate more revenue than your actual email flows. So I just want to say that the 80-20 of this here is that flows, they build on your existing website traffic. So if you shut down your traffic, flows will barely generate any revenue for your business, while campaigns, they build on your existing email list that takes time to build out. But once you have, even if you shut down your traffic completely, your campaigns, they will make revenue because of your engaged list. So keep that in mind. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to talk about something really important here, because I'm a huge believer of planning and strategy, and without planning it's hard to have a solid strategy, right? So the other day I just talked to this company. They are an 8-figure brand in the UK, and I was shocked that they actually don't create a campaign calendar. Believe it or not, they send 2 campaigns a day, which is a very large volume, and they have a couple hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So yeah, they are just big senders, basically big users in Klaviyo, and actually they don't have a campaign calendar. So now what we started working on is actually creating this calendar together and to make sure that they have a solid email strategy. Because if you don't have a calendar, it's really hard to think 1 or 2 months ahead, and without that it's really hard to oversee what you are actually doing. And what I mean by this, so when you send campaigns, you don't want to do this from today to tomorrow. You really want to think, okay, who are my ideal customers, and what different segments and lists I have in my email database, and what cadence, what frequency I should use to email them with my email campaigns, because as you will see, there are major differences there. But also how I should use different angles to sell my products to these different avatars, different segments. So yeah, also what to A/B test. So there are just so many things you can do and test, and you should measure that without a plan and without a schedule, it's just almost impossible possible to improve over time, especially when you have a large database. So before we jump into the nitty-gritty of all of these, I just want to share a couple docs that you will find in the resources in the link below. So first of all, I will give you this sales event dates, and this focus is mostly in the US, but some of them are worldwide, like Valentine's Day or let's say UK, but this largely focuses on US holidays. So this is just a calendar you can use, and I will tell you this later, but basically every month you want to have a major sales event, a major holiday event. And if you don't have anything, you don't have Valentine's Day or Black Friday every month, you can come up with your own thing. So in January, if you are not in Australia or not in the US, then there is almost nothing to celebrate. So you can come up with your own holiday. And let's say if you sell pet products, it can be International Cats Day. If it's, home decor, then it can be International DIY Day. So you can come up with your own events actually, because people, they want to celebrate and they want to find a reason to get a discount and a nice offer from you. So it's less about the actual event, it's more about the actual fact that they need some justification to buy, basically. That's how human psychology works. So you can use this calendar, and then I want to share this calendar template with you. So this brand, they were one of our clients a couple years ago. So you will see that they sell shade sunglasses in the US, pretty solid brand with a great founder, and very nice price point as well, great customer reviews. So this is a solid brand, and we helped them with email marketing for some time, and we always built out their campaign calendar. So this is just an example. Their list, if I remember correctly, it was a couple tens of thousands people, so probably most seven-figure businesses are there, smaller e-commerce businesses. So yeah, here you can see the sending date, and then here you can see what kind of campaign this is. So what's the ultimate goal? Building trust, or promo, or content, or sales event. Basically, we differentiate these four, and what are the differences? So trust building emails, they are more about, very self-explanatory, so they are about building trust. These are the emails which are not necessarily about sales, or even if we promote something, it's very indirect. So rather we want to build trust, and we can share fresh customer reviews, founder stories, so everything that builds trust. And then we have content, which is, again, very self-explanatory. So we share the content of the brand, can be a YouTube video, a new blog post, or whatever you want, maybe even an advertorial. So it takes you to this content piece, which is about how to find the best sunglasses shape for your face shape. And then we have a promo, which is basically one-time flash sale events, and people, they get an offer that they can use for a collection or for one product. We have sales events every month, as I said. This is typically a series, a sequence of email campaigns, and we will talk about this later, what's the structure here. And then here we have notes, which can be your offer, so discount code or BOGO, buy one and get one, or buy one get one free, something else. Here we add the segmentation, super important, so don't undervalue this. Always think about segmentation. And then if we have any A/B tests, as you can see, we A/B test a lot. I would add that for sales events, we don't run A/B tests, because again, sales events are usually the biggest revenue generators. So we just don't want to A/B test for these sales events. We already want to know what works, what's the best offer, what's the best subject line, what's the best angle, best call to action, what product to promote. We get a lot of data from this account, from the audience, about the audience, and basically we don't run A/B tests by the time of the sales event. We want to make those as our best shot without A/B tests. And then here we have the format. Typically nowadays it's only HTML. We barely use plain text emails. Here we use it for one email. This is a campaign calendar. I will provide a free template for you that you can use for your own sake. And basically how this works, so let's say today I want to send out a campaign, and then let's say I want to promote one of my product. I can click let's say I want to run a promo email, a flash sale email, so I will add the CTA link to this product. I will send this to, let's say, engage 90, say more engaged segment, let's say no A/B test this time, and the format will be, let's say, image heavy, HTML. I don't give away a discount code, and then I added these two hook and angle, which is more for copywriting purposes. So let's say what's the hook? So last day of February, 24-hour sale, or last day of winter actually when I'm recording this, and I think this is more like the angle. So yeah, this is why we give them a great offer. That's the angle that we approach. And hook can be, I don't know, I'm having a great day by founder. So this would be an email where the founder sends this with this one product, and he gives away a 24-hour sale. This is the last day of winter. That's the reason why it happens. There is no A/B test and image heavy email. You can provide this to GPT or Cloud, or some AI model, and actually it will help you with the copy. So that's the other reason why it's helpful. And then of course you can add extra columns if you wish, so it's really up to you. Yeah, I will leave this here and you can use it for your own purposes. That's about the calendar that you need to set up for email campaigns. Okay, so now let's jump into the details of email campaigns. You know the base, how to create an email campaign calendar. So as I said, basically there are two types of emails and four types altogether, but the two main categories, so we have sales and promo emails versus content trust builder emails. And why we have these two major categories and then subcategories? Because I can see many brands, they just send out sales and promo emails, but what they do by doing this, even if it generates a nice revenue initially, over time it really exhausts their email lists. So that's a major problem. Their engagement metrics drop because Gmail, Yahoo, all of these email providers, they recognize that you are just, selling people, and people, they just get tired by that. So just like ad blindness, same happens with email. People, they become blind to your emails and they don't open it, or even if they open it, they don't click. That's why you want to entertain them, nurture them, send them content as well. That's why you want to have trust and content based emails as well. So nowadays, marketing and being an e-commerce business, it's being a marketing machine as well. And you have to entertain, nurture, educate people. If you are Walmart or Costco, maybe you don't have to, but that's just a very small number of brands who build on sales and discounts only, and that's why they exist. So most businesses, especially higher ticket e-commerce, I would say then this is a must nowadays. So how many emails you want to send per week? I would say if you have a small list with 10,000 subscribers or less, you can send 2-3 per week. If you have a list somewhere between 10 and 100k subscribers, I would send one every weekday, so 5 per week. And if you have a bigger list, then you can send emails multiple times a day, and even on weekends you can send emails to people. So I talked about this brand where they send 2 campaigns per day. The list is roughly 200,000 subscribers at the moment. So that's about the frequency. And when it comes to the ratio of sales versus content and trust emails, we typically start with a 50-50. We don't have much knowledge and data about the account, and over time we iterate it based on the results. So for some brands, over time this will become more like 80-20 and more sales emails, while for others this will be 80-20 but more content and trust emails. We have clients where actually trust emails, they generate more revenue than actual sales events and promo emails. So don't undervalue these content-based emails, because just like with ads and websites nowadays, that's how you can grasp the attention people who are less aware of your product, the problems it solves, and how to have it as a solution. So don't underappreciate education, nurturing, and entertainment. Okay, so now when it comes to how to create a campaign, so I can show this in Klaviyo, super simple. So here you want to give your campaign a name, and if you already created this calendar, I would just use this. So let's say promo, and let's say I will add this. draft date today. This will be an email only. You can add text if you want. Now continue, and here you pick your segment. So I said engage 90. Okay, actually there is a segment like that. I can pick that. Turn on smart sending. Do you want to use smart sending? So for most of the campaigns we have smart sending, unlike flows. So basically we prioritize flows over campaigns because those are behavior based. They typically generate more revenue per recipient than campaigns. However, if it's a holiday event with time sensitive offers, I would turn this off. So if it's Black Friday or a 24-hour sales, something like that with a time sensitive coupon code, I will turn this off. So I would make sure that everyone actually receives this email. So in this case, this is a 24-hour sale. I'm fine to skip those people who are in the flow at the moment. I want to enable UTM tracking, and I will click next. And here you can actually set up your email. So I'm having a great day. That could be actually the subject line. I'm having a great day. Preview text. So message by our founder. Sender name, sender email is there, and we will create the email body. So this can be, I think I added that this would be an HTML email, image heavy. So if you want, you can use any AI tools, or you can do the copywriting yourself. But basically here, let's say, hey, our valued subscriber, this would feel a bit official. So basically here you write your copy, and then you can add images if you want. So yeah, basically you just create the content here. You can make it nicer. So this course, it's not really about the editor of Klaviyo. I don't want to talk too much about this. You just click next, basically. Yeah, I don't know why the subject line disappeared. Probably I didn't save it, but I will just redo it. Okay, you can check how it looks like for mobile, and next. We can set up an A/B test, but for this one I will not. And then basically here you just hit schedule or send now. We typically schedule it a couple of weeks in advance, and the timing is a bit tricky. So you can have a fixed send time for the whole segment, or you can gradually send it over several hours. I would do this when you have more than 100,000 subscribers, you know. Probably you want to send this gradually, but now I use send time, and I want to send this today. And time, let's say, let's make 5 p.m. US Eastern, or it can be the recipient's local time zone. So typically when we have a time sensitive offer, we use a fixed time zone, and in the email we say this coupon code exists for 24 hours until midnight US Eastern, so everyone knows that. And also the send time will be aligned with that, so keep that in mind. But if it's not time sensitive, you can freely use the recipient's local time zone for content emails, trust emails, not time sensitive offers basically. And you can send this immediately or send the following day. Now I will use the fixed time because we have a time sensitive offer for 24 hours, and I can just schedule this. I will just do that. So now once it's done, then you will see it as scheduled, and you can clone it, you can edit the details. But basically if you want to edit this now, then you can go here, and basically if you want to edit this after scheduling, you have to pause it, and after you can edit. So yeah, this is how campaign sending really works in Klaviyo. I would say it's quite simple these days. When it comes to the details, so frequency, we already talked about this, and basically when you come up with your campaign calendar, you want to come up with different ideas, you want to be creative, and you just want to brainstorm about it, because how great brands, they differ from small brands. Not just having a campaign calendar, but really putting the effort into creating this and having a nice mix of different campaigns, you know. Like look at this, like who we are, what to expect from the newsletter. We send this to people, you know, in Engage 60. Maybe I would do it differently these days. Like I would send this to the unengaged people actually who never open an email. But yeah, we just talk about this. Or I remember we sent this email about donations. Or I remember after Black Friday emails, we sent people a thank you email where actually the founder said thank you to the whole list, basically, and especially to customers who just purchased during Black Friday. And then I really like this approach that we also ran a VIP pre-Black Friday offer. So this is only for people who subscribe for this special pre-Black Friday offer in October and early November. We basically told people, if you subscribe to this extra VIP offer, you will get great BFCM deals weeks before the actual event. And it was quite successful. So that's something you can do as well. But again, you want to spend time on ideation. That's how your content will be amazing. And here I just added a couple ideas for you. So after flash sales and one-time sales events, let's talk about holiday sales events. So these are the ones which are more like a sequence of emails. Here you can see an example. So Black Friday is the biggest one, but you can see we had this Christmas, and then we had this for New Year's, but that was more like a flash sales. Next time this is probably Valentine's Day when we had this. But basically we have a specific well thought structure about a holiday sales event. So how this looks like. So you want to send out a pre-announcement email one day before you open up the whole sales event. And we typically just build anticipation here, and we send this to the engaged segment, and it can be a plain text email, a message from the founder type of email. But basically we just tell people that tomorrow something big will happen, something big is happening. And if you want, you can even leave out, just don't use any links, because people, they will go and check out your site anyway. Many people will they actually buy from this email without having a link in the email. So pre-announcement email, it's really powerful. You can play with this, and then the next day you can have a grand opening email. This typically generates the most revenue. Basically here you open up the event that okay, now our Black Friday sales is live, our Christmas sales is live, Valentine's Day, whatever, and people, they can use your discount or free shipping or whatever your offer is, your BOGO offer basically. And then in the next couple days you can send reminders depending on how long your actual sales event is. So for Black Friday it's 1 week, for Valentine's Day it's 3-4 days. That's typically the timeline. It's more than 1 day, but it's less than 1 week, shorter than 1 week, so somewhere in between. And then every day we send them 1 or 2 reminders, typically to the most engaged segment, and you can remind people and show them different products that they can buy. So these reminder emails are great as well. And then as you're getting closer to the end of the whole sales event, especially in the last 24 hours, you want to send out urgency type of emails. These can be plain text again. You can also add SMS marketing to it, but we typically send this to the engaged segments as well. You can send at least one to the whole list, and urgency emails, they really work. So yeah, add some kind of urgency, so only 12 hours left, or you can add scarcity. Ideally it's real scarcity, only 100 items left on stock, or only 10, or whatever. You can play around with this. And one more thing you can do is changing your offer. So maybe it's a bit more advanced, but bigger brands, they actually change their offers almost every day. So you know, it's against offer fatigue basically. So people, they don't get bored by your offer and by those reminders. So that's something you can try as well. So this is really a series of emails. I would say it's minimum 4, maximum 10 emails. So during Black Friday you can go hard and you can send 10 emails in 1 week. That's completely fine. Nowadays everyone's inbox is just full. So yeah, and then offers. So here are a few ideas, but yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that. And again, for holiday events, I wouldn't A/B test too much. I would rather do it before the actual event. Okay, so now that we discussed sales and promo emails, let's talk more about trust and content type of emails. So while sales and promo, the goal is to generate more revenue, these are really good at keeping your engagement metrics high. However, many times we include indirect sales, and actually it gets better numbers than an actual sales campaign. So what are the most common ones? So this is where you really need creativity, right? And this is where you really want to have a close relationship, a personal relationship with your subscribers. So some of the ideas, you can send a survey, ask for feedback, engagement insights, and what you collect the next week, you can send it out as an email campaign to your list. So you can experiment with that. You can also send out fresh customer reviews, and nowadays this could be automated using different tools. So these tools, they dynamically pull in customer reviews, and then you can send those out in your next email campaign. You can share your next blog post. You can share your next YouTube video. You can add the thumbnail into the email or make it a GIF, so it's highly clickable. People really liking GIF. You can share listicles. You can have giveaways or raffles. You can tell people that you you can become a brand ambassador. You can get a lifetime discount if you become one. So, there are endless ideas, and you can brainstorm about it with your team. But basically, you want to provide value here. You want to feature product, but ideally, you want to do it in an indirect way. So one of my favorite techniques, when we share fresh customer reviews, and then we have the quote, and then below we add who said this and about what product, and we just link the product there. It's literally just underlined the name of the product. And many people, they will stalk and they will just click the link and go to the site, and they will actually buy the product. It's really powerful. So these are the main content ideas what you can use. And ideally you want to have high open rate, click rate for these type emails. Here you can see a couple examples. That's about trust emails. And again, you can start with T, and over time you can iterate. For example, in Q4, as you can see, we go hard on sales emails, while before November and December, we rather build up deliverability by sending a lot of trust emails, content emails, and ideally for broader segments. So it really builds up a really good engagement by the time when we want to harvest in November and December. And finally, I will add this presentation of mine, the 10 commandments of irresistible email campaigns. So this is a presentation I've been sharing for years, and the 10 points barely changed, because these are really principle level, I would say. But the first one is create an actual plan in Google Sheet, and then I talk about segmentation here, how to find the right ratio of trust versus sales emails, and then what to upsell and how to find that, and then learning about the ideal copywriting and design of your audience, how to do that. And here I also talk about the ideal structure of a sales event. So this is the one that I just shared with you in this course, and also how to check your engagement metric and your deliverability. So I will also add this to the resources, so you will find this here. Okay, now that we talked about flows and campaigns as well, I want to talk about segmentation and why it's so important. So first of all, why segmentation is important. So my favorite example, and this is so common, when I talk to a e-commerce business owner or marketer, and they tell me that Daniel, you want us to send out an email campaign every day, and we have like 20k subscribers. Isn't that crazy? So everyone will get one email per day, so like 20 per month. They will be fed up with our brand. They will hate us. And then I tell them that, okay, but once you have this campaign calendar I just showed to you guys, and you use proper segmentation, just think about it, and especially in Klaviyo where we can measure literally everything, then actually people, they will not get 20 emails a month. Only those people who want to get 20 emails per month from you. So that's why we come up with these smart segments, and we will see who opens your emails almost every time, and they actually click and buy, and who are those people who are not interested. So they just open once a month, or they haven't opened for months. Actually, they are inactive. Maybe you can even get rid of them at some point. You can suppress their emails, and we will see all of these, and we can also see who complains, who unsubscribes, what's the ratio of those people, and we will frequently email those guys who are interested and engaged, and those who are not, we will rarely email them. So by doing that, we will send the right email to the right person at the right time, which is end of the day, just that's the goal of high converting marketing, right? Digital marketing. So this is why we use these smart segments. We send the right message to the right people at the right time. That's the purpose of high converting digital marketing these days. Now I will dive into segments, what segments we typically use, because there are endless opportunities and possibilities to create these different segments. So we want to focus on the most important ones, the most impactful ones, and those which make the most sense. When it comes to segments, there are many ways to do that. I would say if your list is below 100,000 subscribers, you typically want to focus on engagement-based segmentation. So what this means, you will check who opened and clicked your emails in the last 30, 7, 90, 160 days, and who are those people who haven't. So you will separate these groups and we will focus on engagement-based segmentation for smaller e-commerce businesses. If you have a larger e-commerce business, it actually makes sense to invest into the advanced analytical tool of Klaviyo. This is a new account, so you will not see it here, but with 5 subscribers. But if you have a larger paid account, you will see it here. You will see Klaviyo's advanced analytics or customer data platform. And basically, when you get this, then there are multiple ways to come up with segments. And actually here in the resources, if I go here, but again, this is a bit more advanced. So I would say this is for email lists beyond 100K subscribers. Then you can start using RFM segmentation. And what RFM stands for is recency, frequency, and monetary. So basically, instead of just based on one factor, which is engagement, email engagement, we rather investigate 3 different things: how recently they purchase, how frequently they purchase, and what's the monetary value of their purchases. And based on this, the software comes up with different categories. So basically, each subscriber gets rated from 1 to 5 or 1 to 3, how recently, how frequently, and with how much value they typically buy. And based on that, it comes up with different categories. As you can guess, there are many categories. So soulmates, lovers, new passion, flirting. So probably soulmates are the highest value, most frequent, and most recent buyers, while lovers are probably not as recent, but still high frequency and high monetary. Flirting is probably, they purchase not recently, but they buy not frequently. Monetary value was high. So basically, there are these different categories, and once you have a larger list, there are multiple factors to really consider. But when it comes to smaller brands with smaller lists, I think engagement is the most important. Also, there are other ways to segment: purchase history, what product they purchased in the past. So let's say if you can see a trend that somebody buys coffee machine, then most likely they will buy coffee next time and they will buy it every month. Then you want to segment out people who already purchased the coffee machine, and you can send them campaigns to replenish them with your actual coffee beans. So it's just one wild idea. So purchase history is another one. Gender-based segmentation, especially if you are a fashion store or skincare, male, female. So that's something you can do. And actually Klaviyo can even predict who is male and who is female. It has predictive analytics that you can use. So I will just use it with this store. So when you want to create a segment, then you just go here, you create a segment, and let's say predicted gender is male. Then you can click here and predictive analytics about someone, and predicted gender is, I will just click male, and this is like 99.5% sure, certain. So not everyone will be actually male, because this depends on the email address, this depends on their names that we have in the system, but this is not 100% sure. Keep that in mind. So this is also a way of doing that. Let's talk about engagement-based segmentation, which is the alpha and omega of everything. So typical one is engage 30. Here we want to see people who opened an email in the last 30 days and they can receive an email. Yeah, I always add this one, so we make sure they are actually subscribers, they can receive an email, and open email at least once in the last 30 days. And typically we also add this one, which is or clicked. And why this happens, because actually Klaviyo cannot always click and open because of the tag, how it works. So we just add this as an extra feature. If you want, you can also add this one. So somebody was active on site, so they still show some engagement towards the brand, but not necessarily email marketing. And actually there are many other things you can add, but yeah, I will just close it like this. And also I will upload this to the resources that you can find below on the link. Basically here I added all the major segments that we use. As you can see, there are many that you can use here, but we will start with with the engagement base. So opened email, clicked email, active on site, or created in the last 30 days. So we assume that they are still active because they just signed up, and people who can actually receive the email. So based on this, I just need to add one more, which was or created 30 days ago. So then you can go here, properties about someone, and created in the last 30 days. So I think in this way we will get 46,000 people for this brand, and if you want you can create this segment. And then you can play the same engage 7, engage 90 and so on. So this is what engagement based segmentation means, and the lower the number is means the more engaged they are. So an engage 7 will be more engaged than an engage 90, right, in most cases, because engage 7 says somebody opened my email or were active on the site in the last 7 days, so very recently, while engage 90 says at least once in the last 3 months. So that will be a larger segment of people. This was engage 30, 46,000 people. If I make it engage 7, so I change everything to 7 basically, then it will be much fewer people. Let's see, it will come up with the numbers soon. Yeah, it's actually 41,000 people. So seems like it's a very similar number. But now I will change it to 180. So 180 created in the last 180 days. So again, last 6 months. Yeah, this will be a larger number, 5,000 people, as you can see. And on the flip side, we can also set up unengaged 180. So we want to find people who didn't do anything in the last 180 days. If you go to this sheet, you will find it. So unengaged, let's say 180. So opened email 0 times, clicked email 0 times. So I will change this. And also very, very important, you need to change it to and, not or. That's just very important. Don't forget this, guys. Otherwise you will get the wrong numbers. So 0 times, active on site 0 times. This is all and, right? It must be and. And properties about someone. I just delete this, and I think we are all good now, but still can receive emails. So this is only 1,300 people. So these folks, they didn't do anything in the last 6 months in the store. And then you can find all active subscribers. That's the easiest segment. So basically you need to delete all of these and can receive email. So basically this is your total list. I'm showing this because actually many people, they don't even know how to do it. You don't need anything else, just can receive email, and that's it. That's your all active subscriber list. Obviously there are many other ways how to set up these segments. You can add properties as well, somebody's location, physical location. Actually, this comes from a survey. So you can ask things in a survey. You can use Typeform, you can use Optimonk, you can even ask questions in your pop-ups, and it will be integrated with Klaviyo. The data comes in, and when you send your next campaign or you set up a segment, then you can use these, what somebody said. So what winter essentials would you like to wear? Probably that was the full sentence. Equals base layers or rain jacket. And we will see what people replied. So that's very smart. That's how you can use zero-party data. Predictive analytics. So here you can predict not only their gender, but their future lifetime value. We can see their average order value, all of those. So there are endless opportunities really to segment your list. However, I want to spend a bit more time on your VIP segmentation strategy. So I talked about this regarding the VIP flow that you can set up. There are different ways to do this. So my favorite is actually based on lifetime value. So total customer lifetime value is at least, and then you enter a value here, let's say 300, and you can call it VIP 300 USD lifetime value. So this will be 14,000 people. You can make this number higher if you want. So let's see how many people. It's only 2,000 now, but there are other ways. So you can come up with other ways like average order value, at least 700. I don't think it will be many people here. So that's also a way to create your VIP segment. But I would say the other, besides the total customer lifetime value, the other most popular one is the predicted number of orders or number of orders historically. So historic number of orders is at least 5. let's say 5x shoppers, it's 1500 people roughly. You can choose which one you prefer for your VIPs. I would say if you have a lot of frequent buyers, I would use this one, number of orders. So if it's a monthly thing, then somebody who purchases minimum 12 times, let's say. But if you sell something more expensive that people buy rarely, then maybe expensive jewelry, and I would set $5,000. So it will be very different for each store. So once you have these segments, you can save them. And when you set up your next campaign, you can pick these. So I will go back to the dummy account and go to campaigns. And when you create your campaign, let's hit continue. You can send it to one segment or multiple segments, basically. And then they will all add up. And you can also click who not to send to. So you can exclude lists as well. And then Klaviyo will also show you the total number of recipients. So you can play around with this. But again, once you have your campaign calendar, then you can create these segments and you want to play around with it. In general, I would say for your Engage 30, Engage 60, send emails regularly. So for Engage 30, I would send 4 emails a week easily, you know. Yeah. For Engage 2 weeks, even every day, like literally like 7 days a week. And when it comes to a broader segment, like all active or engaged 6 months, engaged 1 year, I would send maybe bi-weekly, so like twice a month, 3 times a month, something like that. So you can play around with these engaged segments. So yeah, that's about segmentation. Okay, so our next topic will be deliverability. We can call it inbox rate as well, but basically we want to know how many of your emails they actually go into the inbox of the Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever they use, so the email providers of your recipients, and how many of those emails end up in the promo tab if we are talking about Gmail, and how many also end up in the spam folder. So we want to see these different ratios because actually today it's never been easier to end up in the spam folder than before. So you know, all of these email providers, especially Gmail, they are really suspicious when it comes to incoming emails and when it comes to you know, those senders who send a large amount of emails. So this is something really crucial to think about. Fortunately, Klaviyo has this tool. If you go to analytics and deliverability, then you will see this dashboard here, which really shows you the main 5 engagement metrics. The first one is the open rate and then the click rate of your emails. So how many people click, what percentage of your recipients they click from your emails to your website, and then the bounce rate, unsubscribe rate, spam complaint rate. What these 3 actually mean. So bounce rate, basically those emails bounce back and simply the recipient doesn't receive those emails. There are 2 types of bounces, soft and hard bounce. I don't want to talk much about this, but basically these recipients, for some reason, they don't receive your emails. Maybe they are on holiday, they have the holiday notification set up, or maybe the email actually doesn't exist anymore. So there are a few reasons. Typically older email lists, they have a higher bounce rate simply because less emails exist after a couple years. Unsubscribe rate, I think that's self-explanatory, and spam complaint rate. So this is different than your spam rate. This means that recipients, they can flag your emails as a spam. So this is an actual complaint, and this is a metric that you want to keep really low. So you can see that the recommendation for this one, it's less than 0.01%. So that's probably 1 out of 10,000 emails, something like that. So when somebody complains that your email is a spam, actually that's a big thing. So you want to avoid that. When it comes to unsubscribe, it's 0.3. Bounce rate, it's less than 1%. So I think it's not difficult to achieve it if you regularly clean your email list, and then open and click rate must be like this. So in the resources section, I added this. So this is the general recommendation of Klaviyo. For each, you want to keep these. So open rate minimum 27%. When it's beyond that, but below 33%, there is still room for improvement. improvement, and over 33% it's healthy. So you can find these metrics for each. These change almost every year. Typically the open rate, click rate, they get higher and higher these days because these email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, they just became stricter than ever. So again, you want to do email marketing well and managing your list. If we scroll down, we can see campaign level and flow level performance, and here you can find those campaigns and flows which generate the most amount of problems. So low click rate for this flow, or a high spam complaint for this one. Typically a welcome flow have a very high unsubscribe rate, spam complaint, because new subscribers, they just don't know what they subscribe for, so they want to unsubscribe or they complain. Here the case is a bit different, so you can look into these and you can solve these. Same is true for the campaigns, so this just really helps you understand this better. And then here you can see the report for your whole account. If you go to campaigns, you will see it for all of your campaigns in the last 30 days, but I can click let's say last year, so it will be different, and we can see actually it's only the last 30 days, so cannot change that here. So yeah, you can see the main metrics basically. So this report is quite detailed, and you can even find more info about bounce details and what the actual reasons are why certain emails they just bounce. It's typically because mailbox is unavailable. That's the most common one. But basically when you work on an account and you want to optimize it, keep these 5 metrics, you know, within the range. Ideally you want to make excellent each, but we can typically see the most common struggle is actually click rate, because the audience is engaged, but it's not easy to get them to your site, while some other businesses who are just starting out, they typically have a high unsubscribe or spam complaint rate, but we can easily fix that. I would say click rate is the one that, you know, it just needs the most work, especially with segmentation and creatives. But once you have these all in the good and excellent phase, then you know, you will see that this overall score will be much higher. So it will be around 80 or even 90. And in that case, I think we can say you are on the right track. You know, most of your emails, they actually end up in the inbox. We can also see here how it changed over time. So now it's around 70, used to be 80. Yeah, so obviously there is some work to do here. I would say the most important factor nowadays is really just good creatives, and then having really good offers, and also just being smart about your segmentation and using the right cadence. So obviously if somebody is unengaged, then don't send them emails, you know, every day, or that's why you don't want to make your win-back series too long, right? Because the open rate will be low anyway, so it will pull down the average. Just be smart about it, how you segment, and just use those things that I already discussed here. And one more thing I want to show you, and you want to do this regularly, otherwise your Klaviyo account will get quite expensive as your list grows, is actually deleting your unengaged subscribers. So unengaged. So I will just create this segment quickly and you will see how this works. So unengaged 180. Keep this in mind that it depends on your customer buying cycle how many days it needs to be. So, you know, if you are a supplement brand selling something that people buy every month, then I think 180 is great. It can be even less, 90 days or 120 days. But if you sell furniture, people buy every 2 years, let's say, then you can make this unengaged 3 years even. So, you know, obviously that works differently there. So keep that in mind. But basically how this works, so someone can receive email marketing, and people who opened an email 0 times in the last 180 days. So this is good. And I also just add no clicks, because the open tracking is not always accurate in Klaviyo. So it's just best practice for many years now. And I add this too. And if you want, you can also add that who are those who were not active on the site 0 times in the last 180 days as well. It's really up to you if it's important, or you really just want to focus on the email channel. So I would roll with this now, and then here we will see how many people this includes. It's only 13 people. So you create this segment and you want to delete this, I would say, once a month. it really takes like 5 minutes or even less. If you already have these segments, even less. So now we have the 13 people here. And then what you can do is, if you want to keep these names and contacts, you can export them as a segment into CSV. You can download all of their information and you can start exporting. I can click this. Okay, so you can export this optionally if you want. Otherwise, you want to suppress current members. So basically what this will do, they will not be deleted from the account. They will be available and you can unsuppress them anytime. However, your account will not be charged based on this. So you can just click bulk suppress and it started doing that. If you have, I don't know, 50k people in this list, obviously this will take much more time, but anytime I can unsuppress this and they just come back to live. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now I want to show you how you can report results to your management, to your team, or to your client if you want. So actually Klaviyo in the past couple of years, they improved a lot when it comes to this. So basically most of the metrics that you will see, they come from here. So basically you want to make sure that these things actually work. So you can just simply click and see you know, how many people they did those activities during the day, edit cart events, active on site events. You can see the actual people, cohorts, all of that. But what we want to do here now is go to dashboards and you can create your own dashboard here. Basically here you can create, let's say, test report and create dashboard, and here you can add different data views. You can start it from scratch or you can use templates as well. So for example, I want to add the flow performance details, so it will be here, and you can add also, let's say, forms. We don't have it. Email funnel summary, that could be useful. And what else? SMS, email deliverability, I will add that too. So it's really a drag and drop thingy. Flow performance, conversion summary, campaign performance, I will add that too. And email deliverability by email domain could be one as well. Segment growth, subscriber growth, I will add that too. Quite handy. So yeah, this could be something to start with. Flow performance details, so we can see different flows, number of recipients, and last 30 days we can see. So yeah, and then here we have the email funnel summary. Delivery rate is high according to Klaviyo, but again, it doesn't really tell you the real inbox rate. And then open rate, average click rate, placed order rate. So this is really just the email funnel. Email deliverability for all emails or only flows, and only campaigns. Obviously we send much more campaign emails for this brand. Campaign performance, email deliverability by domain, we can see that too. And as subscriber growth, which went down most recently. Probably we were cleaning the list and we did some suppressions, as I can see. Here you can click the full report here and it will take you there. This can be a good start, and then you can add things from scratch as well, and you really slice and dice your data just as you wish. So for example, I want to see placed order, I want to see let's say the value of those, and we can group them if it's necessary, but I just will make this a line graph so we will see it over time, and voila, you have it. You can also change this flow performance detail. We can also make one, let's say we want to see opened email, the actual count, how many, and let's say we want to come up with a bar graph for this one. So yeah, this is how many people were opened here. Why I don't like these reports, because you cannot really see the open rates in percentage and click rate, so you have to go to deliverability to see those over time. So yeah, and then once you have these reports, I will show a real report that we use. Let's say this one, overall dashboard. So conversion summary, this is the number of emails, and then a value, see last 30 days, total values of placed order, campaign performance will be here. So yeah, we have it here. However, it's a daily breakdown, right? So when you don't send campaign, it will be 0. Flow performance here, and flow details. These are the bottom performing metrics and top performing metric, and email deliverability. So you can play around with this, but basically you can go here and you can print this PDF. So actually this will look really nice, and yeah, you can do this well. And then if you want, you can go to custom reports, and these are more for spreadsheets, I would say. Campaign performance report. I want to see the recipient number, email open rate and click rate, and placed order rate and value. So let's say save and run this report. And yeah, you can export this as a CSV as well. So here actually you can create even more detailed report, and you can group, filter by tags. You can add the time frames. It's pretty handy, and you will see all of these information. So you can use whichever you prefer. I usually just go with the dashboards, and you can also see benchmarks, which is pretty useful. So Klaviyo will actually compare your numbers to your competitors, or at least similar businesses in the same niche. That's what it does. And here you can see how your numbers compare. So you will see top performing metric and bottom performing metrics as well. If you want to learn how they choose your peer group, then you will see it here. And then business performance KPIs are added here as well. Campaign and flow KPIs, so all the 9 yards basically. Whichever you use, I think you will get the gist of it pretty soon, and it will help you report the overall numbers. That's about analytics and reporting of Klaviyo. All right, so now let's talk about A/B testing or split testing. So why split testing is just so important? Because, if you don't improve your things, your marketing strategy, then you will eventually just die. So we want to evolve. And actually testing is one of the best way to evolve, because we come up with ideas, we call them hypothesis, and then we add certain KPIs to this hypothesis. For example, if I say that I assume if I use shorter subject lines for my emails, then I will have a higher open rate. So more people will actually see what's inside my emails. So this is a hypothesis, and then we added a KPI, which is the open rate, and then we can come up with the exact emails where we want to test this. Let's say for my next 5 email campaigns, or for my abandoned cart flow. So we also specify where we want to have this test, and then finally we also add what's the timeline of this test. So I will talk about this in a minute, but this is the basic structure of an A/B test basically, and this is why we do that. And over time we learn from these hypotheses. Many times you will fail, your hypothesis will fail. So it actually turns out my email open rate doesn't improve by using shortened subject lines, but that's fine because we just learned that. In this document you will see that what are the most common A/B tests that we run, and in the past 6-7 years we run thousands of different A/B tests, so we could really see what moves the needle and what doesn't. I think this is one of the main benefits of working with an experienced agency or with a team, that they already tested many things and you don't have to, so you save a bunch of time on this. So long copy versus short copy, that's one thing. And then same for subject lines, same for your call to actions, simply how long your copy is for these different elements. And then using more call to action links and buttons or less. Counterintuitively, we found that using fewer call to actions can improve your click-through rates in your emails. So you can actually try only 1 or 2 links instead of using 5 or 10, and many times you will find that your click-through rate is actually higher in those cases. Another common one is send time, and then you can experiment with different subject lines, using emoji or not using emoji. Interestingly, that can really change your open rate results. Using testimonials or not, using arrows or not arrows. So yeah, these are just some of the examples we use. And then here in this guide, we break these down even further. I would also add one thing. You can actually test your sender name, so who sends the emails, and you will find out that in many cases playing with your sender name, so it can be your personal name or company name or one of your employees' names, like I don't know, Jamie, customer support specialist, or your brand name. So when you play with these, you will see that in many cases the personal name will have a higher open rate. People, they just relate to that more. So that's also something to test. And then once people open the email, you can test things like the length of your copy, also how many images you use product images and just a lot of images in general, or you focus rather on text only emails. So yeah, there are many things you can test. And when it comes to timing and how long you should run one A/B test, actually it all comes down down to statistical significance. And if you click this link, you will find a calculator that you can use. I don't want to dive deep into this, but basically that is a method to calculate when we can be 95% sure, meaning this is statistically significant as a result. So when we are 95% sure that if we repeat this test again and again and again, we will get the same result. And if we have 95% certainty, that's pretty high. So that's called a valid test, basically. I would say as a rule of thumb, you want to run an A/B test to get at least 100 conversions. If your KPI is your open rate, then minimum 100 opens for both variations. If you focus on the click-through rates of the emails, then minimum 100 clicks. And if purchases, then minimum 100 purchases per variations. You may also ask, what is the right KPI to see if my hypothesis is good or not? So I would say everything that is before opening the email, like the sender name, the subject line, preview text, for example. In those cases, you want to focus on your open rate. You want to track that mostly. And then if your test affects your email body, like how long my copy is, how many images I use in the emails, and so on, then you want to focus on the click rate. That's the main KPI you want to track. And in certain cases, we also add revenue as a secondary metric for our A/B test. But I would tell this to everyone that you shouldn't focus on revenue when it comes to your email A/B test, because your website highly affects your revenue from your emails. Okay, and now I want to show you how you can run these actual tests. So you can run an A/B test in your campaigns or flows. So let me show you this first in your campaign. So let's say we want to create a test campaign. Okay, I will go ahead, continue, and we send this to, I don't know, to this one. Next, and here you can add the subject line. Let's say preview, and we can use this template. Use template. This is cool. So now we will click next. So this will be our first variation, and actually we want to create an A/B test. So hit this one here, and we can test content or test send time. So we will test content here. This is how it's built out in Klaviyo, and you can create 2 variations, or you can build even more. And the winning metric. So what's the KPI we want to track? So again, if I want to change something that affects the open rates, subject line, sender name, preview text typically, then click open rate. But if something that is inside the email, go to click rate. And you can also click placed order rate in case you want. I will, let's say, change the subject line. So variation B. Here AI gives me some ideas. So let's say I want to use this one, and click rate, test size. So here, let's say we send out to 10,000 people this email campaign, and you can initially set if you want to send this A/B test to all the 10,000 people, and then split it up to 50-50. So 5,000 and 5,000 people will receive variation A versus variation B. Or what you can do is, let's say I want only 20% to receive my 2 variations in total. So 10% will receive variation A and 10% will receive variation B. So 20% in total. And Klaviyo will actually send to only 20% in total. And then after, it will wait 6 hours, or you can change that. Let's say 3 hours only, or it can be even 1 day. And after 3 hours, it decides who is the winner, which variation, and it sends out the winning variation to the rest of the list, to this 80%. So yeah, this is how it's built out. I would say for smaller lists and campaigns below 10,000, you shouldn't really get into the little numbers. So yeah, 100%, that's perfectly fine. But if you have a list of 100,000 or 1 million, then I think sending to 10% only, 20% only, and then send the winning variation to the rest of the people, that's completely fine. The only thing to keep in mind is only these 3 hours. So for example, this is why we don't don't A/B test with time-sensitive offers, because this 80% would lose 3 hours on that offer. So I hope that makes sense. You just click next, and yeah, here you can schedule and send the campaign. We can also test the send time. That's a bit different. This is how we can test campaigns, and now how you can test flows. So let's say we have this flow, and you can go to the editor, and from this point on it's very similar to your campaign builder. So create an A/B test, and this is variation B. So I don't know, I will add an emoji, and here you can decide if you want Klaviyo to automatically choose the distribution and automatically decide who is the winner. So same happens here. Winning metric, let's say open rate, because I changed the subject line, and end test by statistical significance. So once it gets to 95% certainty which one is the winning variation, that can take some time actually. Or you can set a date limit, let's say 1 month. So, or you can do both. I would say if you have more than let's say 2,000-3,000 people coming through your flow, then you can click this one. But if you have less, then set a date limit, which probably applies for most of your flows, for most brands. So you can just pick that as well. So I will just go here, publish test. Let's just publish it. Okay, so now we have these A and B variations, and I will click done. So now we can see that yeah, this A/B test is live, and the flow email is live as well. So yeah, we will track who's the winner. Okay, so now that you understand how to run this in Klaviyo, how to decide what tests to prioritize, because you know there are so many test ideas, and I already gave you a couple ideas how to run these A/B tests, but yeah, I just want to guide you what are the driving principles here. So basically I really like this very simple 3 circles methodology. So basically first you want to see which A/B test will potentially lift your revenue the most, and then which test will impact your KPIs the most, and this will be usually open rate or click rate as we discussed. And the third, how easy this A/B test is to implement. And this is true for website optimization as well. So same methodology. If you can get a ton of revenue uplift, and your conversion will increase a lot, or your open rates, but it's super difficult to implement this A/B test, and you need to rethink how to make it more simple, and you know if this just really is worth your time or not. So high priority test, and you can start with these subject lines, preview, CTA, copy, placement, email layout and structure, imagery, your offer strategy, discounts versus no discounts, send time, frequency, basically all of those. And low priority typically flows, or when it comes to a website, those pages and opt-in forms where you barely have traffic, email sent to tiny segments, email campaigns below 5,000 subscribers. I don't think you should test there. And simply you just want to avoid over segmentation. So you can set up not just 2 variations in a A/B test, but more. And actually I wouldn't set up more than 3 or even 4 for one simple A/B test. So just keep this in mind. And I would also add, super important, you only want to run one A/B test at a time. So you don't want to change the subject line and then use, let's say, long versus short subject lines. And then you also add 2 variations where you test long copy versus short copy in your email, because then you will be not clear what caused the uplift or the decreased performance. So at a time, only do one A/B test, and we typically run one A/B test multiple times through multiple campaigns and multiple flows to see the effect. So, you know, even if we have statistical significance with high certainty, we want to know the audience really well. That's why we actually run one A/B test through multiple campaigns. Yeah, these are the final best practices I discussed. So yeah, don't forget those as well. And also never touch a live test. So always wait for statistical significance, or if you set an end date, wait for the end date, and you don't want to stop it and you know, intervene, because it will ruin the results. Many times we can see that initially one variation performs better, but over time that performance decreases and the other variation has a better performance eventually. So don't undervalue that. So this is everything that you need to know about A/B tests. I hope you enjoyed, and even more importantly, you learned something from this video. Unfortunately, we can see too much shit out there. Here at Budai Media, we want to help and educate the e-commerce market with high quality marketing. In the description, I will put a guide with our top 100 email templates that you can freely download using the link. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we come out with a new video, so stay tuned. I will also add one more video for a recommendation, so see you in my next video.